The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Today is National Orgasm Day.
By the way, I faked every orgasm.
I'll have an orgasm, and for my drink, I'd like a banana daiquiri.
It's just that all men are sure it never happens to them, and most women at one time or another have done it, so you do the math.
You don't think that I could tell a difference?
Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Let's get this show started.
Thank God it's Monday again.
It's showtime, folks!
Come with me if you want to live.
Well, damn. I'm not crazy about National Orgasm Day falling on a Monday.
Too much pressure?
No, it's too much too soon for a Monday, that's all. You ease into Mondays very, very slowly. You don't fly out the gate with disgusting, obnoxious orgasms.
What day of the week is the first day you start to consider maybe it's time?
Well, just give it a day. You want to orgasm, hang on to it until tomorrow. I'll orgasm right there with you tomorrow. But today, it's rude and inconsiderate. I'm in no mood to be dodging orgasms on a Monday. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you 100%. I mean, I think
just wait till tomorrow.
Some people might argue, why not start the week off with a bang? And maybe you'll be in a good mood on a Monday and it could last you all week. Unless you're a teenage wapple where it'll last you 15 to 20 minutes before you have to do it again. What was your record again? 7 in one day?
Yeah, 7.
You're disgusting.
That's really gross.
You disgust me.
It's really sick. You probably needed to talk to a professional or something at that point.
Or a hydration specialist.
Yeah. Did you have like skin conditions after a while where you had to take a break?
No.
Really? No rug burn or nothing?
No rug burn.
Tug burn. No tug burn.
Yep.
You probably should have gone to the hospital.
No tendonitis in the elbow or anything?
No.
You probably should have been in the emergency room.
How long do you think that streak lasted? Where you were doing it that often? I mean, are we just a couple of months or more?
No, it was just one day I just had nothing to do, and I'm like, let's see how many times I can do it.
Oh, I didn't know that's how it was. I thought just the urge arrived that many times.
No, it was just kind of like, well, let's see how many times we can do this.
Send the old time trial record.
I've never done that.
That's like what serial killers do. Pretty sick. Here we are, and thank you for being there. We're the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Did everyone have a great weekend?
Yeah, no complaints.
Josh, you're
very
good.
Relaxing.
You're good to go, Cubby?
I'm all set. Like you, though, I don't think I'm ready to orgasm on a Monday.
No.
I mean, that can change.
Is it too early to discuss fun facts about gross orgasms?
No, I like fun facts.
You do?
As you know,
It's not too early for, what is it, 5:44? You're okay with 5:44 being our starting point for fun facts about orgasms?
Right. Well, wait, and let me ask you this.
I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like tomorrow, big day in Minnesota. Weed is decriminalized or whatever you call it, right? You can smoke weed or you can do whatever with marijuana. Does that affect, maybe you're like, well, I'll get my orgasm out today because I might be too baked tomorrow to make that work. Although Wapple smokes a lot of weed and probably did back in the day, and he made it to 7.
Yeah, I definitely was smoking weed when I set my record.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm not racing out to Weed Mart tomorrow or anything.
I've got a 9:05 a.m. dispenser. I paid some kid to wait in line for me so I could get in there. Actually, I was thinking about it over the weekend. I don't know one place to go.
Oh, I wouldn't have a single idea where to go.
Because a friend of mine loves those THC drinks. So he's going to like some brewery or something like that to get those. Because you can't go to like a Cub Liquor, or can you?
You can, yeah.
Oh, they have the THC drinks?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, you know me, Cubby. I'm completely tuned out to this weed thing. So no, I wouldn't know where to go either. Should we go somewhere?
Are you going tomorrow, Dana, during the show? Did that get worked out?
I haven't heard of Wapple. Have you heard back on that?
Yeah, Dana will be going out to High North Dispensary tomorrow.
Sweet.
Where is that?
They have a location in Uptown, Cottage Grove, and Invergrove Heights.
Let's send them to Cottage Grove.
If you show me a map of Minnesota, I would throw a dart at it, and that'd be my best guess as to where Cottage Grove actually is.
Here's what happened with those folks. What's the name of the joint?
High North.
High North. When they sat down to decide on 3 locations for their dispensary, they said, okay, let's go to Uptown. And everyone collectively said, it's a good idea. Uptown, absolutely, very busy. Then they got high. And by the end of the meeting, the other 2 communities they settled on were Invergrove Heights and Cottage Grove.
Yep.
That proves that they've got a problem with weed.
Hey, Invergrove, that's right by me. Invergrove Heights.
Yeah, that's right by you, Josh.
I didn't even know that
I'm
was
gonna
still
be
there.
high.
That's still there, Invergrove Heights?
Oh,
Yeah, I was just there.
Yeah,
confirm.
One of the owners lives out in Invergrove Heights, so that's why they have that location.
You gotta be
Cottage
high
Grove
to be
is
in
close.
either of those communities, Cottage Grove or Invergrove Heights.
This
Is Grove another word for drugs or something?
I bet there's a drug connection somewhere.
All right. Tomorrow, Dana's going to go to these joints, one of these joints, and I don't mean to be cute with that. What are you doing out there when you get to a High North dispensary?
Handing out munchies, hanging out, learning about weed.
Handing out munchies?
Yeah.
Do you know what munchies you're going to be handing out yet?
I do not know.
We got chips and stuff like that.
Yeah, you
It'll
know.
be a surprise. That's kind of fun.
Nice.
And people can come out there and get some munchies and get some marijuana?
Yeah, I can teach everybody about marijuana. I'm the expert on this program.
Do you know
Teach them how to roll a joint, Dana.
Do you know for sure it'll be open when you're there? We should find that
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I have not heard the details yet.
That's a phone call somebody ought to make.
Well, I'm gonna open up my own apothecary, and I'm just gonna grow some medicinal weed if anybody needs it.
Apothecary.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I've
no
never
problem.
heard. You guys are.
I have
You're going to
no
sit there
idea
and
what that is.
You're going to sit there and act like you've heard that word before.
Nope.
Apothecary.
And I'm gonna act like that's just in my vocabulary, and not that I picked it up from watching the new Star Trek over the weekend.
I like your style, man.
This is a great text on your masturbating 7 times in one day waffle. Did I mention you disgust me?
God damn.
Did I already say it twice?
Yes.
All right, add that to the list.
Is that 3 times now?
This person says, I imagine by the 7th orgasm, there was nothing left. Just a piece of paper that said, IOU from semen.
Just a bang.
Yeah, it just
flag.
signs it. That's what I was saying last time. It's a bang flag. That's all you got left.
Just dust.
Mixed reviews coming in via text on Invergrove Heights. People like it, some people don't.
Yeah, good Culver's in Invergrove Heights. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that last orgasm wobble. Like a kind of a decrepit, wounded fly, just kind of.
I'd imagine it just made a squeaking noise, like letting air out of a balloon.
You know, sometimes when you swat at a fly and you wounded him, but he's not completely dead, but you watch him, he lifts off the ground and he can't quite make it. That's all you had left was just like a.
Little trucker Jesus said he had a buddy that was so lonely he'd jerk it 12 a day.
Oh, that's. Jeez.
That's a lot.
Some of you are lucky to be alive. All right, fun facts about orgasms here on National Orgasm Day. Here we go with the marijuana cigarettes already. This came out of Glamour magazine. That's still a thing, huh?
Well, at least their website is.
Oh, right. It says right here, glamour.com. I directly went to magazine because I remember sifting through, I think, my older sister's editions of Glamour magazine to try to get a peek at, this is about 1985, Josh, so try to get a peek at...
Madonna.
Yeah. Or...
Paula Abdul.
Sure. People who smoke weed have more orgasms.
Well, Wapple, I mean, right there, that's the evidence we've got.
Yep.
Well, I'd be high all the time. Pot smokers were 109% more likely to have multiple orgasms. Well, yeah, you ain't got no job. Being politically active pays off. People who are more passionate about politics have more multiple orgasms and more orgasms in general. Not around me, they don't.
Because they need it to survive, like to stay mentally sane.
That's a good point.
Politics will crush any orgasm that I might have left in me.
Yeah.
Well, maybe someone is so sure about their opinion and really think they're enlightening folks around them that they kind of masturbate to their own opinion.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
I'll tell you.
I love talking politics.
Political indifference gives me wood. I'll go the other way with that. Faking orgasms isn't something that just women do. Now, I learned that to be fact for the very first time in my life from a Cubby story. I had never in my life heard of a man legitimately faking an orgasm until Josh said, you faked your very first, how should I say this? During your very first full-on...
When I lost my virginity...
Yes, when you lost your virginity, you faked an orgasm.
I did. I was so nervous about the situation, and I just, even though I was 18, I felt like, I'm not mature enough for this. I don't, what am I doing here? But I kept thinking, this is going to be a great story for my buddies. Finally, they'll leave me alone, right? And I was taking forever because I was so nervous, and finally I just like did a little shudder and like, whoa! That was good.
What an orgasm.
I wish I smoked because I need a cigarette after that one.
It almost sounded like you fell off a bar stool.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Best I've ever had. Man, great orgasm. Woo-wee.
Oh, that's
that
funny.
was fun.
Because most guys have the opposite problem on the first time.
Trust me, the second time things were different.
Okay.
But yeah, the first time I couldn't get her done. But as I mentioned before,
It's fascinating. That's a great story.
it worked out for me because I got this reputation at school of, they called me the Energizer after that.
You were like a sewing machine.
Yeah, I was a stud.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, that's the opposite. It was total nerves. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on, and
Already feeling regret and it wasn't over yet?
oh, there was a lot of guilt. There's no joke. I felt so guilty. I told my dad.
That's right.
And I said, Dad, you got to forgive me. I had premarital sex.
Father, please forgive me, for I have boned.
Didn't you also tell your dad the first time you masturbated?
No, but I wanted to.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
'Cause also, the guilt was...
Yeah.
God, that friggin' Catholic guilt.
I know. It's terrible. And it doesn't fully go away. It's a lot better than it used to be, but it's still there.
You felt so terrible about having sex for the first time, even though you were an adult.
Yeah, I was 18.
I
mean, freshly 18, but or a couple months from turning 18.
Were you kind of bragging to the old man? You weren't bragging at all?
No, not
It was
at all.
just Catholic guilt?
I went back and forth. I even asked a friend, like, should I tell my dad? And hell no, you shouldn't tell your dad. But I had
Still
to.
told him.
When you were pumping back and forth and you knew, okay, I have to stop this, but you weren't entirely sure how. Did you play it through in your mind? Okay, what sound do I make?
Oh, yeah.
What,
and I even felt silly, like, wait, guys don't fake these. You know, I thought I might end up in a medical journal sometime.
Yeah, because usually there's evidence. So I'd like to think that no one's ever faked it.
Well, I was wearing a condom.
Condom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Still.
I mean, do you check each time? Oh, let me make sure. Let me get a look at that
I
thing.
usually do check it out, yeah, to make sure that it's there.
Oh, wow.
Do you really? Like, instead of somewhere else, you
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Ashley, the first time he told me the story, I was lost too because of my lack of condom use. So don't feel bad. The first time he told me the story, I said, "Well, where was the evidence?" And he said, "Well, I was wearing a condom." And I said, "You were wearing a what?"
What's that? Never heard of that.
Yeah, right. So I was a little lost the first.
Oh, I left this part out. Actually, I kind of forgot about this until we talked condoms. Part of the reason I was intimidated is because she had. I didn't know this was going to happen. She had one, and I thought, oh my goodness, that is forward, and it was colored.
She's prepared.
She had a condom.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant she had an orgasm.
Oh, I think so.
Okay. She had a condom on her. I'm sorry, where were you going with that?
Just that I was intimidated by the fact that
She had a rubber.
yeah, I'd assumed
Yeah.
The guy brings that.
What
Yeah,
color
yeah.
was it?
Red.
Red.
And
Wow.
yeah, so then it was a colored one too.
Yeah, that's weird.
Wow.
That's really weird.
What do
What's
you mean?
weird about that?
I don't just different colored condoms, and
Red,
especially
too.
for your first time, I'd be thrown.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd feel kind of silly.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know how it went.
I'm sitting here trying to think when I was involved in my first sexual encounter, first time I had sex, if I was going to fake an orgasm, I wonder how I would have played it out, having no knowledge how most guys orgasm through intercourse. I wonder if I would have said, woohoo, or what? You know what I mean? What noise would I have made? Right. You know, owie, owie, owie.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't. That's interesting to me that you had to fake it without any knowledge of, okay, how's this supposed to look? How's this supposed to sound?
Oh, you're very literal.
Aside from with yourself, of course.
I am having an orgasm.
All right.
And I'd only seen one porn. It was only like a minute or two. It was
That's what I
horrible.
was just gonna
It was
say.
a terrible experience.
Yeah,
So
you didn't see any porn, so it's not like you knew what they sounded like.
yeah, I didn't know.
Some of us did.
And you know, I'll tell you, like I said, I watched a minute or two, and believe it or not, I was paying attention to the girl side of things. So I never took any notes. And that was a few years. So that was actually maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years before.
Jeez.
So there was, and nothing in between.
More fun facts about orgasms on National Orgasm Day. Speaking of our parents were orgasming up and down. Well, it depends on how old you are here. I should be more specific. And I hate this stuff. I'm so tired of this millennial, boomer, what else is in there, Gen Z. I'm so tired of people being defined that way because I still do not know what it means.
I think
it gets explained to me, and I always forget what is a millennial.
I think you and I are Gen X.
Okay.
Let me double.
Whoever these people are, millennials have 12% fewer orgasms than boomers. It would be very helpful if these articles would just stick to age ranges as opposed to these stupid labels that we're so obsessed with nowadays.
Now, the rest,
Great.
you guys are all millennials, are you not?
I am, for sure.
I am.
I think, Ashley, you might be Gen Z.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't
None of it
know.
makes sense to
We
me.
need to get rid of these terms because I can't keep up with what they mean. All right, so older people were banging more. Hey, we knew that, right? We hear that more and more, that young people aren't having sex anymore. They're just playing video games and masturbating on social media. I don't know. It's different than it was 30, 40 years ago, right?
All right, Ashley is a Gen Z. I got a buddy who's a millennial, and he doesn't like it. He's a year from the cutoff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wishes it was a year older.
Yeah, just missed it.
Redheads. Oh, for some reason, single women's with red hairs have the most orgasms.
Oh.
Blondes are in second place.
I can think of a redhead who never had a chance to give her an orgasm. Or become in-laws with Nick. Same woman.
Miami is the place to orgasm.
That seems like a really horny city.
Spring break? Isn't that where all the MTV spring breaks are? Or they go to
Yeah,
California
that's
too?
all I think of when I think of Miami.
Oh, I don't know. Boy, I haven't watched one of those shows in a while, but I used to. Back in the early 90s when they'd have the MTV spring break show.
Who is that guy?
And Digital Underground is going to perform, and so is the Crash Test Dummies. Who was the guy? Eric Nice? Eric Nice?
Yeah.
He was always hosting all the show. Oh, or Dan
Cortez?
Cortez, right. Yeah, those guys. They were always the host. I would always watch those shows because it was just wall-to-wall girls my age in bikinis.
Yeah.
And then a performance by Digital Underground. God rest the soul of Shock G. In Miami, they orgasm more than the rest of us do, I guess. Tech nerds. People working in computers and electronics have more orgasms. Well, yeah, they can access porn websites that none of us would have the skills to access.
I agree.
Faster than most of us, too. They can get to those.
I got one word for everybody here. Holden. Think about that.
Yep.
There you go.
I didn't need that.
Our tech guy? You're not picturing that?
I don't want to.
I am.
Oh, gosh.
You bad boy. Nasty. Bad, nasty. Nasty Holden.
I hope he
If he walks
listens.
by today, everybody's going to bust out laughing.
I know.
You guys are up on those emojis. You're always sending emojis back and forth, this way, that way.
Yep.
It says here, women who use the lips and kissing emoji have more orgasms.
The kissing emoji is a very common
It is?
emoji. Yeah, kissy face.
Kissy face.
Yeah, the only one I ever use is just like the laughing face, just to make sure people know I'm making a joke.
Oh. I use quite
wait,
a bit.
you put it on your own?
Yeah.
Like your own joke you put that?
Yeah, a lot of,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
like how
that's
it
pretty
works.
common.
Yeah.
That's okay to do that?
Yeah.
Or
It's just
LOL.
it's just to emphasize that you're joking.
Yeah, I usually do an LOL, a capital LOL, so it's like, oh, I'm super laughing out loud, but I never am.
Weird.
I don't know what's
I
wrong
didn't know you
with
could do that. Because in real life, that'd be like, why did the chicken cross the road to get the other side?
Well, it's just because things get lost in context. when you text.
Don't get mad.
No,
don't
no,
get mad.
I'm
just
not mad.
There's
I'm
no
learning
need
this.
for anyone to start getting mad.
Yeah, you sound upset.
Oh no,
That is funny that
I was
when you
just-
say
LOL.
that.
Should I said LOL?
Yes, you should have.
All right, just calm down. LOL.
When I do look at my texts, like compared to, like other people my age and like my mom, yeah, you're right. Like older people don't do that, but younger people definitely do.
I don't know what you mean by older people and younger people. Can you call them millennials or boomers or Gen Zs or Gen X
Put
or
this in context.
double boomers?
Double
boomer.
Give you a double boomer.
It's orgasm day.
Yay.
Well, I don't know. Has anybody already celebrated?
Twice.
Twice.
Whoa.
That'd be impressive.
Hell no.
Haven't even thought of it until we started.
No. Like I said, right, Wapple? It's Monday. Take it easy, everybody, with the orgasm.
Monday morning.
Monday morning, even. If I would have had one of those before I drove into work, I would have fallen asleep halfway here.
That is so true.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to time out the nap and all that kind of stuff.
I
in a
go
ditch somewhere.
immediately to sleep. Immediately.
Yeah, I know a couple people who have said they like to start the week that way.
In the morning?
Yeah, start
Wow.
in the morning. I'm not a morning.
There's no
guy.
doubt these are women.
Yes.
Yes.
Both of them. They like to start the week.
Yes.
And it kind of sets the tone for them.
I used to know gals like that. They just thought of it as some kind of a launching pad to a glorious day. And I thought, well, then tag in some other dude. Because if I do it right away in the morning, I am a zombie for the rest of the day, dying for a nap. Even when I was a young guy, immediately just... You know, I would go right to sleep. As an older guy now, it's dangerous. I probably would have driven off the road had I created or was given an orgasm before I left.
Anyone ever fall asleep during?
No.
Yes.
I have
That'd
as
be
well.
impressive.
During sex. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yes. God dang it. Once.
I'm trying to remember if alcohol was involved. I don't really think so. Maybe.
We weren't in the throes of intercourse just yet, but we were damn near. Does that still count, Josh?
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of more what it was.
Yeah, oh my damn it. I regret that one because I think it would have been a keeper. But we had been drinking all day and all night, and we ended up back at her place, and things were getting fresh. And then it was, hang on a second, she said, I gotta hit the head. I gotta go to the bathroom. And then the next thing you know, it was morning, and I said, "You son of a bitch!" But I mean, I had to have had 20 beers, you know.
I don't even have that excuse. I just get so tired.
I hated myself.
Sleepy Josh.
Hated myself the next morning.
This person said they have not yet celebrated National Orgasm Day today, but they did some crazy pre-gaming last night.
Well, what's going on around here otherwise? It's a Monday morning.
Happy National Orgasm Day.
Randy and Brad will probably want to cover this all over again when they join us at 7:30.
Brad probably fresh back from his sex dungeon cabin.
I hope so.
Me too.
He needs to relax.
Should we get her?
Let's get her.
Let's take a break. Come right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Stacking Benjamins with Joe and his good friend OG not only has great financial insight, it's laid back with humor too.
Mr. Len Penzo's here. Now when I buy something, I'm like, can actually spend any time with this thing. Len, I would imagine you've got to think about that too when you're buying stuff.
You know, before I was retired, if I wanted something, I bought it. I don't care what it was. The Kings were in the Stanley Cup Finals, and me and the Honeybee, I mean, we didn't even think about it. $3,600 on 2 tickets. Now that I'm retired, those days are gone.
The Stacking Benjamin Show, available on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X. Stupid news on the Half-assed morning show.
Pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to deliver the stupid news today. Can you see it on my face, Josh?
No.
You look
I'll
pumped.
be honest.
Thanks, Ashley. I am pumped. But I got to say, this here first stupid news story is very graphic. I might even go as far as to request you to get the young kids clear of the radio. This isn't an all-ages story here, so I'll give you a minute to clear the kids out. All right. A captive manatee in Florida is dead.
Oh, bad start.
This manatee, named Hugh, and others like him, including his brother by the name of Buffett. Now, some might say buffet. It's just a guess on my part, since this is Florida, that maybe they named him after Jimmy Buffett.
Could be.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm going to go with Buffett. Hugh the manatee and his brother Buffett. They lived for, many years at a joint called the Moat Marine Laboratory and Aquarium in Sarasota, Florida. But Hugh is dead. And he went out in a hell of a way. I mean, a hell of a way. Hugh the manatee had rough sex with his brother, Buffett, and the rough sex killed Hugh dead.
Was not expecting that.
No.
Why? It was pretty obvious.
The aquarium said that Hugh, who was 38 years old, died as a result of high-intensity sex with his brother.
You know, I sent this to my brother and said, you and I are going to end up like this. And he didn't think it was funny at all.
Did he leave you on red?
No, he doesn't have that turned on.
Nah.
Did he leave you on red? Don't bother. I won't understand it in the first place. But whatever happened to your brother's sense of humor?
Well, you know, I think he kind of thought it was funny, but he didn't really want to admit that there's a chance. I mean, there's a chance.
There's a chance.
It's always a
I'm not
chance.
saying I want it to end that way, but it is possible.
Oh, the humanity. Now, the word is here that Hugh's colon took a terrible beating.
Okay.
He really went for it.
An official report on this deadly incestual aqua folding said that the folks running the aquarium, where the two manatee bros hung out, observed high-intensity sexual behavior between the two of them back on April 29th. To be specific, Buffett was banging the much smaller Hugh into next week. And the two of them just kept going with this all damn day. It was like a drunk honeymooners in their early 20s, for Christ's sake.
I wonder how often that happens in captivity, you know, with these animals are together and that's all there's there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Maybe a zoologist can let us know.
All day long, a set of brothers banging. Eventually, Buffett ran out of gas. and he stopped pumping his brother's brains loose. Buffett swam away, but old Hugh, he sank down to the bottom of the pool.
That's no.
And he died.
Oh, poor Hugh.
Yeah.
Now, some folks are upset with this aquarium. They're saying that the aquarium failed to protect Hugh before his death. The aquarium is defending themselves by saying that the sex between Hugh and his brother Buffett was natural, and they were mutually seeking interactions on the day that Hugh checked out.
Close family.
The aquarium says Hugh showed no signs of discomfort or distress, and veterinarians who hang out there tried to distract the manatee brothers to get them to stop with the banging. Hey, treats, fellas, over here. You want a treat? Do you want a treat? But they couldn't distract them. They just kept pumping. Hugh and Buffett lived together for 27 years in the same pool. But now Buffett is swimming solo. It's a strange story right there, I'll tell you that right now.
Never heard anything like it.
And I'm sad for the both of them. It brings back terrible memories of a family I used to know in Wisconsin.
What was it, Tommy Boy? Where Rob Lowe is kissing the mom. And what's supposed to be the mom, you know, everybody thinks they're mother and son.
Right.
You know, turns out they're dating. And didn't somebody say something about, make a comment once they saw them kissing?
I'm trying to remember, but yeah, there was, because they go in for, like, you know, embrace, and all of a sudden they're just like, just tongues out going for it.
Oh.
Wasn't that something? That Hugh and Buffett story.
Yeah, we've been here a long time, and there's been a lot of stories that have come up.
Yeah.
I can't remember anything anywhere near this.
No, brother-on-brother manatee sex that led to death? That's a first.
Hopefully not the last. No, wait, yeah, I take that. Hopefully the last.
Sounds like that scene from Caddyshack where Judge Smale's grandson Spaulding thinks he swam up on a duty during Caddy Day at Bushwood Country Club as played out in real effing life there in China. And if you don't know the scene or the movie reference, then you shouldn't consider yourself an actual American citizen. But anyway, see if you can hang with this one. Chinese social media users are demanding compensation for a guy who was caught on video swimming right into a pile of floating turds that some other peckerhead dude fired into a swimming pool at a neighborhood gym. Spaulding, no! Here's what happened. And it's all on video, like I said.
It's on 93x.com, too.
Oh. I don't know why, but that scared me when you said it's on 93x.com?
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Can you imagine seeing something like that? You're desperately trying to warn someone. No, please. Don't run into that.
Can anyone answer this Caddyshack trivia question? What was the length of time that they dedicated to Caddy Day at Bushwood Country Club?
I don't remember the detail.
It was really short. It was like 5 minutes.
Wapple, it was from 1 to 1:15. Caddy Day.
Guess. Dang it.
1 to 1:15. Madonna with meatballs. All right. A couple weeks ago, over at the gym swimming pool in a town called Guangzhou. They got a swimming pool at the gym. Some Chinese fellas are swimming laps. In this case, one dude is directly following another. Dude in the lead, for some reason that only he could explain, he pulls down his little swim trunks and sprays this yellow-colored diarrhea into the pool. And then he just goes right back to swimming. The poor bastard behind him is concentrating on his swimming routine. He doesn't notice at all there's a diarrhea cloud in his path, and he swims right smooth into it. It's one of the worst videos I've ever seen in my life.
It's bad. I would kill that man.
I'm sorry, but you must die.
The story says here it's unclear whether the second guy made any contact with the fecal matter, but from watching the video, I don't know how in the hell he could have avoided it.
Yeah, you can't avoid that.
It's right in his way.
Yep. And that's almost just face first, too.
Yep.
Oof.
Almost. That's full-on face first, Wapple. His mouth was probably open.
Oh.
Because he's got to breathe. He's swimming.
Doing the
that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a deep breath, too. Really taking that in.
Derp. Folks that run this gym noticed floating liquid turds in the pool. They immediately checked surveillance video footage and identified the poop maker, who turned out to be a gym member. A police report was filed. The effing disgusting, disrespectful, pooping guy was fined a pile of monies, and he had his gym membership revoked.
Well, I remember, with my kids, when they did swimming lessons, you'd probably once a month get a call, hey, we're shut down, somebody pooped in there.
Yeah.
Has everyone experienced the community swimming pool turd?
No,
I haven't. I've never seen it outside of they kicked us out and said, all right, everybody out. It was usually a toddler or less, right? At least that's who they blamed.
I had a bad day at the community swimming pool when I was a young kid, a bad day.
Oh, no. What happened?
My twin brother and I were taking swimming lessons. Yay!
Cute.
Right?
Yeah.
And we started off in the shallow end, and I thought we were both doing pretty well. And then the teacher said, okay, the following children have advanced to the next level. You can go mess around in the deep end. And they picked, little Donnie and little Missy and Frank Jr. and my brother. And that was the end of the list. And I said to myself, well, I'm doing pretty good. How come I can't go into the deep end? But I got left in the shallow end with a few other kids. My brother went on, and I got left behind. And I thought, that's not right. And wait a minute, what is that? And there was a big there's a floating turd in the pool next to me.
Oh,
no.
So not only did my brother advance to the advanced course or whatever, but I'm stuck, and my feelings were hurt, and then there was a giant deuce floating in the pool. Some other kid took a deuce in the pool. The good news was we were done swimming for the day. The teacher, everybody out, and we cleared up, and we never went back to swim lessons.
That was it?
That was it. That was it. And this log was like out of a medical journal.
It's just perfect?
It was perfect in every way. I mean, I even
jealous,
had to,
actually.
I had to take a second and go, wow, that's a hell of a...
That's what I want to get.
Mistaken that. That's a turd.
I want to be there someday.
Between the tears, you're just like, oh, I got to admit, though, that's a good deuce.
You want to make that perfect turd someday?
Someday. That's my goal. I wonder why they do have to shut the entire thing down. I mean, that it must be...
E. coli?
Contaminate pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, it must. I was at the pool last week or so, and a little girl came up to her mom that was sitting next to me and like whispered in her ear, like that she thought someone went to the bathroom in the pool. And I just got there, and I almost just wanted to be like, hey, shut up, kid. Don't tell anybody. Just let it happen.
Keep it yourself.
I don't want the pool to close. Luckily, it wasn't.
I had a buddy who was a lifeguard in the summertime, and obviously not the winter, but he at one of those outdoor type of pools, and we were going to go up to a cabin one day, but he had to work, so he couldn't go, and he goes, oh, you guys, I got an idea how I can go to the cabin. I'm like, what's up? He goes, come to the pool, I'll pay for your admission, and one of you guys just take a dump in the pool. It'll shut down for there. Like, no, we're not doing that.
No.
That's a bit of brilliance right there. I never would have came up with something like that.
Just throw a baby Ruth in there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Runs in the dark, Jesus said, at a wave pool once as a teen. He went to dive into a wave. He had to take a hard left to dodge a Snicker bar coming his way at 100 miles per hour riding the wave. It was friggin' nasty, he said. You imagine it shooting at you that fast? I'm picturing just a scene out of The Matrix.
Yeah.
He's slow motion moving out of the way.
Somehow you become the most agile athlete in the world today.
Just grazing his face a little bit.
Oh, now Hot Cocoa Sheezes seems to think that I wasn't advanced to the deep end back when I was taking those swimming lessons because they knew I peed in the pool.
I bet she's onto something. They don't shut down a pool for that.
No.
And I am, you're right, Hot Cocoa Sheezes. I've admitted it many times on this program. I am a prolific pool peer. If you allow me into your pool or your shower, I will pee. But I don't know. We were all peeing in the pool back then.
People are texting in saying what happens is when they kick you out, they pour in a ton of chemicals. And that answers the question. I figured they added chemicals, but I was wondering, do they have to drain the whole thing? It seems so dramatic.
Oh, I guess thought they did.
Well, you know how there's something wrong with my brother, Josh? Like mentally?
I don't feel that way about your brother.
It's because when that turd was in the pool back on that day, they poured all those chemicals in there. They forgot to take my brother out the pool. Yeah. He was still in there when they threw. He turned into the Toxic Avenger.
That can do some damage.
Yeah.
So it looks like if you accidentally, if you end up swallowing the turd water,
yes,
you get recreational water illness.
Recreational water illness?
Yeah, because everything's contaminated in the water now because of the turds.
I want to know what you Googled to find that information out.
You know how if you swallow a liquid turd?
I Google searched, why do you need to close the pool when someone poops in
Well,
it?
there's E. coli, right? Isn't that a factor?
Yep.
At any rate, this dude who got a face full of diarrhea at the neighborhood pool in China, social media folks have his back and they think he should be compensated some money for this. He should get this and he should get that, and they also think the dude who shot the turd should be blacklisted from all neighborhood swimming pool. Well, maybe we'll get an update on this.
Army mechanic Jesus had to recover a rolled vehicle in Iraq. And he said the only way to get the winch line to it was across a Pooh River, and he wasn't swimming in it. He's not going to fall for that. That's the river where everyone poops, I guess.
Oh, gross.
The Pooh River.
Remember how much pee ended up at the water park in South Park? It turned out being just all pee at one point.
Yes, I do.
Just a bunch of pee-pee.
I do remember that.
Somebody else says we're wrong. They just poop in there again, and it cancels the other poop out. That'd be a lot easier.
Yeah. All right, who's got one ready to go? I'm on it.
That's why they have so many lifeguards.
Medical device Jesus said the smell of chlorine in a pool is literally just pee reacting with the chlorine. If there's no urine, chlorine has zero smell. I always thought that was an old wives' tale.
Yeah, because I love the smell of chlorine.
Mr. Science. That's fascinating.
Well, no, that can't be right because I've put it in an actual pool before.
What are we talking about now?
The chlorine, having a smell or not.
Yeah, I always assumed it did. He's got medical in his name.
I think we're going to have to.
I believe him.
Let's just
But
agree
he did go to
disagree.
Michigan State.
Oh, true. He's really tall, though.
Here's another one of these stories where you'll likely say, damn, if this person put this kind of effort toward legitimate endeavors, he could accomplish any damn thing he wanted to. An unemployed man in Russia managed to live out his dream of being a traffic policeman by putting on a fake police uniform and going on patrols with actual cops for 2 months before anyone realized he wasn't for real skis.
How oblivious are the other cops?
It's more the administration, right? I mean, if somebody said, hey, Ashley, here's your new partner, you just assume, okay.
Right.
That's true. Yeah?
Dude's name is Victor. Don't you know? He's 48 years old, and he ain't got no job, and he ain't got nothing to do. So he bought himself a realistic-looking police uniform and just upped and started pretending he was a traffic cop one day. Now, it's not specific here in the story, but it sounds like Victor would just hop into the patrol cars with real cops, and those dumb bastards never knew he was fake.
Let's roll, partner.
Come on in.
He's riding around in a cop car and such. 2 months after joining the ranks of the Stavropol Traffic Police is what they call themselves. 2 months in, his cover was blown. While checking footage from the body cams of traffic cops out on patrol, his bosses noticed that there were 5 cops on duty, despite official records only showing 4 fellas on the roster. We got, Sasha and Slava and what are some other Russian names? Vladimir and Olaf here. Well, who's this other guy? He had gone on patrol with the 4 real cops at least 5 times, and none of them had reported anything bizarre about him. He was doing the job just like the rest of them. Handing out tickets, reprimanding people for their poor driving and things like that. He admitted to impersonating a police officer. He was charged with all kinds of things.
You're right, though. Imagine, he's got that gumption. He's got drive. He's obviously intelligent enough to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Why not get a real job? Although, I would think the cops, maybe in another precinct or something, turned him down for a reason. They figured it out.
Yeah.
I imagine he didn't really pass the psych test, if there's one of those.
Well, I can tell you. So
I don't know. He seems like he could probably fool just about anything or anybody.
Oh, true. Lie his way out of it.
Pretty
yeah.
clever. Pretty clever. Do you want some fake cop history?
Sure.
All right, great. The biggest property theft in history. Oh, my God. I didn't know when I said history, I legitimately meant history.
You sure did.
The biggest property theft in history happened in 1990. 2 men dressed as cops stole $500 million worth of art from the Isabella something or another museum in Boston. $500 million worth of art they stole. The case is still unsolved and the art is still missing.
I wouldn't know. Would you guys have any idea what to steal? You assume anything in there is valuable.
Just the Mona Lisa. That'd be about it, John.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the Starry Night or the Sunflower one, or things like that. The screaming guy.
Yeah, if I see one that I've seen before on the internet, I'll assume it's valuable.
Yeah, the one with the melting clocks. That one's got to be a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You'd understand that.
My list still ends at Mona Lisa. That'd be about it.
Overwhelmingly, people are texting in saying the chlorine reacting with urine is what causes the smell.
Oh.
Fascinating.
Next time I'm in a pool, I'm like, it's not chlorine-y enough for me. I'm just going to take a whiz real quick.
Anybody smell chlorine? No?
Yeah.
All right, just wait a second.
I'm just standing on the edge of the pool, peeing into it.
I'm helping you guys out.
Don't even bother getting in.
Under the guy, hey kids, come around here. We're going to learn something today. Just under the guise of instructing young people.
Lesson time with Uncle Dana.
All this talk about ones and twos, it makes me think of one movie scene, Josh. Steve Martin. From the Filthy Rich, Dirty,
Rotten, Filthy Scoundrels?
Whatever it is, you know the movie. Or Steve Martin is sitting at a dinner table with his buddy Michael Caine, and there's a few other people at the dinner table, and Steve Martin says, "May I go to the bathroom?" And Michael Caine says, by the way, Steve Martin's character at the time was named Ruprecht. And Michael Caine says, "Yes, Ruprecht, you may go to the bathroom." And Steve Martin sits there. And he sits there. And he continues sitting there, and then he says, "Thank you."
I remember as a kid, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I remember as a kid thinking that was so funny. Here's a clip. Hopefully this works.
Oh. Eat your food. Excuse me. May I go to the bathroom first?
Of course you may.
The look on his face.
Thank you.
The look on the woman's face watching this.
Also, speaking of twos, over the weekend, I was at a gas station, had to go to the bathroom. So, going to the gas station, bathroom, it was a 2-urinal, 1-stall situation, and I'm in the stall, and I hear somebody else come in. You know, it's normal. It's a public bathroom. And then about 20 seconds later, I hear him go, "Hey, pal, I know you got here first, but it's kind of an emergency." And I said, Nick, is that you?
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
He's been there.
Yep. Oh, yeah. On both sides of that friggin' door, man. Both sides of the door. Whew. Rikers Island is New York City's largest jail, I believe. I've heard it mentioned quite a few times in movies and such. I bet there's some real cutie pies up in there, huh?
Yeah, they make it seem like it's not the best one.
Last week, there was a close call over there where an inmate swiped a guard's uniform from a jailhouse gym and disguised himself to try and escape the joint.
Oh.
And he got nabbed as he was trying to walk smooth out the door. It was a close call. The inmate by the name of Bokeem Jones was locked up on assault.
That's a cool name,
Bokeem.
Yeah.
He was locked up on assault charges. He damn near made it out. But staff recognized him at the last minute. And then he got into a fighting stance. When they recognized him, whoop-pow! He got into his fight, and then he ran like hell. And then the guards dumped some of that pepper spray on him, and he went down.
So glad I'm a corrections officer and definitely not a convict. Man, wouldn't that suck? All right, boys, I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Been a long day, hasn't it, boys?
Just going to run my tin cup along the bars here as I walk up and down the aisles. Just a corrections officer.
I like how when they said, hey, Bokeem, where do you think you're going? He went, hi-ya! And then he ran.
I'd feel silly getting into a fighting stance. It's so unnatural for me. You know?
Especially since I don't know how to fight.
Yeah, I don't
right.
remember the last time. I don't think I've been in a fight since maybe 6th grade, maybe even 5th grade.
Josh, can I go to the bathroom?
Oh, of course.
Right.
Go right ahead.
This is dirty right here. A real estate agent up there in British Columbia has been fined $20,000 after being caught on camera drinking milk straight out of the jug at a house he was showing. You prick! Get your filthy yap off my damn milk jug or
kinda gross.
Carton or whatever. That's terrible. A hot, wet realtor mouth licking at the same milk I'm going to splash over the top of some Golden Grams when I get home.
Dude, Golden Grams.
Take it easy, Wapple.
We have Golden Grams at our house.
Do you?
Jealous.
So underrated.
Everybody settle down.
So underrated.
Do you think they're underrated?
Yeah, I do.
I've never heard anybody say, Golden Grams.
Everyone kind of always just reaches for Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
I knew if I named a brand cereal that it would turn into a 7-minute back and forth on. This realtor dude goes by the name of Mike Rose. He was alone in the house, waiting to see folks who were interested in buying the joint. He went to the refrigerator to find water, but instead took his fast-talking Canadian mouth and wrapped it around the milk container and then put it back in the refrigerator.
If he would have eaten hard-boiled eggs out of the fridge, I would have put my house up for sale. I made a mistake. I bought way too many hard-boiled eggs. I'm so sick of them.
How many have you gotten through so far?
I've gone through maybe 10 of 32.
Oh, man. How long do they last? You're going to have to freeze them or something.
Weirdly enough, they last until the end of September. I don't know how that works.
I can tell this has been weighing on your mind, Josh.
It's been weighing on my tummy.
Yeah. That too.
How many do you eat a day?
I got too excited when I went to and bought a bunch of stuff in bulk. And
well, bring some into the building. I'll take some of those pigs home.
Would you really?
Well, yeah.
I never even considered that.
I'll make you some potato salad.
You guys would.
Sounds cool.
You guys would do that for me?
Bring some of them.
For sure.
I'm used to having the upper hand as an executive member of Costco.
I mean, if you wanted to bring some of those Golden Grams in, too, I don't think anybody would be complaining. I know Wapple wouldn't.
Bring a few of these eggs in, hand them over to Wapple. Have Wapple make potato salad, have him bring that into the building, and then take Wapple's potato salad and put it in the garbage.
You really don't like potato salad?
Not Wapple's potato salad.
I love potato salad.
All right, so the owners of this house saw their realtor filleting their milk jug when they were looking at security footage. I guess they're the types that sit around and watch their own security footage day after day. But then they confronted him about it a couple days later. And he was embarrassed. He apologized.
I wonder if it's one of those things where they were looking at the people who were going through the house, to hear what they're saying.
Sure. I forgot that the place was on sale.
Because I remember going through homes, and you guys heard of Chris Lindahl?
Sure.
Heard of him, yep.
You know, he had mentioned, hey, we're going to talk any deal stuff. Let's do it outside because of cameras and all that kind of stuff.
I've heard John Schuster say the same thing.
Have you?
Yeah, I've heard him say it.
Did you hear? When did you hear? Recently? Because Lindahl told me a long time ago. You know, he kind of came up with the whole guaranteed offer kind of thing. And
We know so many powerful realtors. You know, it could have been either one of them. You know. So anyway,
That's true.
You go outside. Why? Just so no one's looking?
Yeah, in case there's like a camera or
Right.
something.
Let's have a private conversation out here in the yard.
I was looking at a house like 2 weeks ago, and they had probably like 4 cameras in every single room. It was insane. I was like, I don't want to say anything in here.
You didn't think for a second, well, showtime.
No. I mean, because if you have cameras and someone's checking out your house, you're totally going to look, right? You're going to watch.
You know, it's funny. I don't, just because I get embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, like even if somebody's at the doorbell camera, I don't know why. I feel like I'm invading their privacy, even though they're on my property.
You know, that's funny because my boyfriend has a Ring camera, and when we DoorDash, I hate when he like looks at the guy on the camera. I'm like, don't do that. He's fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. But let me know if you need a really good realtor.
Okay, I will.
I can help you out.
Thank you.
Realtor.
I used to say realtor,
I still do.
but now I say realtor. Even though you're right, Nick, I think it is realtor. At least that's what they say in those commercials.
All right, before we go, this is fun. Everyone should check out the video that goes along with this here. Some stupid wannabe bank robber in Ohio. His plan went to hell when he dropped down from the ceiling of a bank's drive-thru and straight into a recycling bin.
That's so funny.
Right in front of the cops who were waiting on his ass. The cops' body cam footage shows this whole thing. Dude's name is Tristan Heidi. Tristan Heidi? It's a sexy name.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it sounds like an artist of some sort.
Yeah. The new bass player for the Bullet Boys is Tristan. This guy was charged with breaking and entering and all that. Cops responded around 2 a.m. to an alarm at this Federal Credit Union. They heard sounds coming from above the bank's drive-thru, and then an access door swung open from above their heads. Without looking around to check his surroundings, the dude drops a backpack onto the ground. Then the thief lowers himself out the ceiling and dropped his carcass smooth into a recycling bin. The cops were right there. They watched the whole thing. This dude knew he was screwed.
He looks so defeated.
Yeah.
As soon as
a garbage can.
Yep. As soon as he landed in that garbage can, did his body language, he just kind of collapsed. You know, like, oh, for God's sake. You know, it's hard to hear it because with all the commotion of the police. But when the dude did end up in the trash can, he did say, "Oh, F."
I've really done it this time.
He never stole anything. He never found anything in there.
Just another day of taking out the trash.
And also when they put the cuffs on him, then the recycling bin tipped over. And he lands on his head, you know, just to add a little insult. We'll be right back on the program.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
The game's no good. You'll admit it. You'll say it.
Because the fans ain't stupid. They just saw it. If I tell them that was a good game, they're going to be like, what the hell is Charles talking about?
You've said sometimes you've even fallen asleep on the set.
Oh, I've fallen asleep, man, like just sitting there watching like, oh, man, this is just bad basketball.
Charles Barkley admitted that sometimes he falls asleep at work when he's covering basketball games for TNT television. Yeah, he can do that. He's Charles. You just wake him up and he says something funny.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
He's good.
Wake him up. Charles will be all right. Well, we'll talk to Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver here in about a half hour and cover every damn thing. For now, I'll just tell you the obvious. That trip to Kansas City, Missouri sure sucked for the Twins.
Woof.
It was too hot and it sucked. They got swept by the last place Royals, so now the boys have lost 5 straight. That's got to be enough to piss Rocco off. I bet you Rocco's pissed.
He gets hot sometimes.
Rocco! First 2 games were high scoring. Yesterday was a 2-1 ball game where the boys just couldn't get the bats going. Still a first place ball club, 1 game over 500. Cleveland's right there, a half game back in the standings. They needed hits, didn't get them yesterday. We've seen that play out once or twice. Next up, starting tomorrow night, they'll play 3 games in St. Louis. The Cardinals are another last place team in their division, so you know. Let's get her done. Go ahead and get her done against the Cardinals. What am I going to do tonight? There's no baseball on tonight, except for the Yankees in Tampa Bay.
Oh, gross.
Doesn't that suck? Twins have a night off. Oh, I'll watch a national game. I look in the paper. Yankees in Tampa Bay. They got the Tampa Bay part right. I'm sorry I blew up, Josh.
What if you had like a Blu-ray of an entire series of a very popular sitcom starring one of your favorite actors, Ed O'Neill? Maybe a guy got it for you many, many years ago and you haven't watched it
A
yet.
full season on Blu-ray of a show starring Ed O'Neill.
Yeah, called Modern Family.
Modern Family is how you say it?
And you've got nothing to do tonight.
Let's go Tampa Bay Yankees. Let's see the little AL East matchup. The AL East, Josh, it's the premier division in the American League.
You're right. That's a big matchup.
The Yankees have won more World Series than any other franchise.
I start now.
Tampa Bay's got that great pitching. I hear what you're saying. I'm going to watch that ball game. Randy and Brad are coming up in a half hour. Josh's very giving news is coming up next.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
I went into pure panic, like pure shock mode. Like I can feel my heart start beating really, really heavy and fluttery. Like this isn't something that you expect to happen to you.
A Texas couple is suing a Maryland man after he allegedly planted hidden cameras inside their rented Airbnb. A lawsuit filed earlier this month against the owner, Christopher Goisey, states that he hid multiple hidden cameras disguised as smoke detectors at their Silver Spring Airbnb rental, where they were, quote, intimate together during their stay.
They were, weren't they?
They were. Court documents reveal the couple did some humping in the shared bathroom, then laid down on the bed and put a movie on. That's when they noticed a smoke detector placed directly above the bed and then another in the corner, which made them suspicious. After taking them down, they realized the devices weren't detecting smoke from a fire. They were hidden cameras intended to capture some burning love. The pair found an identical one in a bathroom as well. When an officer responded to the property, another individual walked up the driveway and explained he was renting the basement via Airbnb. There, police found more hidden cameras, also disguised as smoke detectors. Police then found hidden cameras inside a safe and seized those too.
Once that recording is made, it is impossible to know where it went, who sent it, has it been shared, has it gone on the internet.
Goisey, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, is currently incarcerated on federal charges of drug diversion and healthcare fraud, but he's not yet been charged in the Airbnb hidden camera incident.
It's easier than ever to be a voyeuristic pervert these days, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah.
But it
now's the time.
It doesn't mean you're going to get away with it. It's not foolproof yet.
Especially when you place smoke detectors with multiple different perfect camera angles. Another Illinois resident in trouble with the law. A 16-year-old Illinois girl on a family vacation to Florida set a hotel couch on fire following a fight with her mother. 911 received a 911 call of a structure fire at a Hilton hotel at approximately 3:24 a.m. last Wednesday. When authorities arrived, they evacuated the hotel of hundreds of guests due to the insolent teen's temper tantrum-fueled inferno.
Probably like 3:30, and that alarm just was blasting, so we got up. First, we thought it was all just like somebody had pulled the fire alarm, like a kid or something, until we saw the smoke coming out of the front, and we were like, okay, it's actually real.
Being 17 myself, it's pretty crazy to think that. I don't know if I could ever be mad enough to him where I would set a blaze to a couch or something.
After police arrested the 16-year-old, they said she started the fire after fighting with her mom, though they didn't say what the fight was about or what could have led her to set a couch on fire because of it. A police spokesperson said thankfully no one was injured and hotel guests were able to return to their rooms that same morning. According to the report, damage to the hotel is estimated to be a couple $100,000. The The girl was charged with arson, and that investigation is ongoing.
What, you guys never been so mad at your mom that you set somebody else's property on fire?
Never. Not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
You would be voted most likely to set somebody else's property on fire after a fight, Ashley, I think. If this was school.
Understandable.
And we're putting you in the yearbook.
That used to be like my go-to threat, was that I was going to set people's houses on fire. Empty threat, of course.
An Illinois man, also in Illinois here, was arrested after allegedly setting fires in his employer's parking lot in an attempt to get a further explanation on his termination. Last Tuesday, around 11:50 p.m., deputies responded to a fire at an automotive business in Antioch. A 911 caller told authorities it appeared a person was intentionally starting fires in the parking lot. At the scene, deputies located 31-year-old Jonathan Tracy after he set fire to a motorcycle parked outside the business. Police said Tracy appeared irate and was shouting that he wanted to speak to his former boss. It was determined Tracy was fired from the business earlier in the day. Police said Tracy told them he began setting fires to items in the parking lot in an attempt to lure his former boss outside because he wanted to know why he was fired.
This guy's the best.
He wanted a further explanation.
Yep.
He was arrested and charged with arson.
Man, I mean, that's terrible, but don't you kind of want something like that to go down around here?
Yeah, it'll happen.
Huh?
It'll happen.
Just so we can go out in the parking lot and go, oh, Jesus Christ, there's Donnie.
We've come close.
He's burning stuff down because he got canned.
A self-described Christian woman and grandmother was arrested Thursday at an Ohio water park after witnesses told police she called a child a fat ass and then pushed him off a floating toy.
No.
Cops responding to a disorderly conduct complaint at the Cedar Point Shores Water Park in Sandusky spoke with 32-year-old Jennifer Hutton, who described an incident in the kids' pool between her son and a 67-year-old Michigan woman. In a police interview, the woman identified herself as Jennifer Lee Miller and provided a cop with her date of birth, home address, and phone number. While admitting that she called the boy a brat, she denied swearing at the child and said she didn't touch the minor. She never called him a fat ass, and she didn't push him off anything. The police report said she stated she was a Christian woman, a grandmother, and she wouldn't do such a thing.
I am a Christian.
But witnesses said she did such a thing, and she did it good. After witnesses contradicted the woman's claims, a cop warned that she could be charged with disorderly conduct if there was another incident, and there was. After departing the water park, the cop determined Miller had provided him with a phony name, a fake address, a fake phone number, and went straight to a busy signal.
Sounds pretty Christian to me.
When subsequently confronted about the discrepancies, the woman stuck to her claim and said she didn't have an ID on her. She did have an ID on her. Janet Nail was her name. She lied about all of her information and had no reason for doing so, an officer noted. Because of her unnecessary ruse, she was arrested. So they were going to let her go, but she lied about all that, and now she's busted.
Oh, so close.
She really called someone else's kid a fat ass.
Yeah, that's so messed up. Man.
Yeah, this is a grandmother. Yeah, that's supposedly, allegedly.
That's messed up.
Man, people are just rude.
Meanwhile, in New York, some amusement park riders say they were traumatized when a ride going backward at full speed wouldn't stop. The rush of excitement on the Music Express ride at Playland Park ended when rider-operators couldn't shut it down.
Someone could get dizzy.
Someone might get sick, might throw up on the side.
I kind of know that feeling, and yeah, it is scary.
The park's general manager, Jeff Davis, said the unwanted thrill was due to an electrical malfunction.
It went through its normal inspection process on Sunday morning, ran throughout the day without incident until that 8:30 p.m. time.
He said the ride's operators activated an emergency stop button, and when that didn't work, they called maintenance for help. Earlier this month, 8 people in Wisconsin got stuck upside down on a roller coaster, and one in North Carolina got shut down after someone saw a huge crack in a support beam. It was later determined there were actually 2 huge cracks. And yesterday afternoon in Pennsylvania, 2 employees were taken to the hospital after a vehicle crashed into a ticket booth at Idlewild and Soak Zone Amusement Park. Police say the driver of that vehicle struck the ticket booth after suffering a medical emergency.
Just for the record, I will take you to the Soak Zone if you get enough beer in me. But that first ride you were talking about went backwards?
Yeah, I think that it's designed to go backwards. I think that's what it does.
But it went backwards. It wouldn't stop for the longest time. Some folks
for
puked.
several minutes.
I
think it was like double the normal amount.
Oh, okay.
I think I heard 4 extra minutes. It was going backwards.
All right. People were exaggerating then because I heard about this over the weekend and someone told me it was doing that for an hour.
No. It was 3. They said 3 to 4 minutes.
But it was enough to make somebody cack.
Yeah, a few people threw up. I was on like a scrambler type ride at the Dakota County Fair, and the guy that was running it was really cool. Like he gave us some extra time, but after a while, as I'm whizzing by, I'm like, "All right, get it,
man,
get me off this thing."
You ever pop off to the ride operator?
No.
Never, ever pop off to the ride operator. Me and a buddy did that when we were about 21, 22 at the Hennepin County Fair. It was. Oh, I'm trying to think of what. Kind of like the octopus at the Valley Fair.
Okay. I love that ride.
Or the monster, whatever you.
Yeah, now it's the monster, right?
Me and a buddy, we were young guys. We jumped on that, and I wasn't the one who popped off. It was my pal who, when we whizzed by the ride operator, my pal said some smart-ass comment like, "This is all you got?" And the ride operator looked at us as if to say, "Oh. You want to die, huh?" And he gassed that sumbitch up and let us go for way too long, and we were very regretful. I apologized to the ride operator because I almost threw up. I said, "Look, sorry, my friend had to be a prick. We will never return. Thank you for your service."
Do you have like Do you have an idea how long you were on that thing?
I mean, it felt like forever, but I would say we probably went a good 5 or 6 minutes longer than any human being should tolerate that kind of spinning and speed. It was like, I think my buddy and I qualified for NASA once it was over, you know.
Yeah, I would imagine it seems a lot longer than maybe it actually was.
Yeah.
3 men have been arrested after they allegedly broke into a Pennsylvania State Police impound lot to recover drugs. Troopers pulled over an F-150 owned by a 34-year-old named Lance Gingery, and he was the passenger in the vehicle. During the traffic stop, a police canine detected odors of marijuana, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and various items of drug paraphernalia, so that truck was taken to the impound lot. Court documents say last Tuesday at 7 a.m., police were notified someone had broken into the lot overnight. Upon arriving, they noticed a hole cut in the fence. Surveillance showed a person getting into the bed of the truck and accessing the cabin through the sliding rear window. Police say the 3 men were trying to recover drugs from Gingery's truck, but unfortunately for them, it was searched earlier and their bounty was removed from the vehicle. Each man is facing several charges.
Their bounty
gone. Also in Pennsylvania, police say a former general manager at a Wendy's restaurant's been charged with theft by deception after she made up a fake employee so she could pocket their wages.
Jesus, criminy.
Linda Johnson created a ghost employee named William Bright, Employee of the Month, whom she clocked in and out at the outlet she managed. Johnson kept up the scheme for close to a year, during which time she managed to log 128 shifts for the fake worker, paid nearly $20,000.
Dang.
Multiple employees said they couldn't recall ever working with someone named Bright. In April, Johnson admitted to police she added Bright as an employee and created shifts he didn't work. Police said the paychecks were deposited into her Cash App account.
It's a pretty clever idea, you know. Probably doesn't have the staying power you would want. Eventually, someone's going to say, "Who the hell is Bill Bright?" I've never...
Who is this guy?
That's so funny.
Oh, he works down the hall.
He's the guy.
Great dude.
He was at the Christmas party.
Yeah, you remember him. He's the guy with the hair.
A police officer in Georgia just found himself a new gaming buddy. What started out as a call about a disturbance turned into a Hapville cop making a boy's dream come true. The Hapville Police Department shared that one of their officers recently surprised a young boy with a PlayStation 5. In a Facebook post last Monday, the department said Officer Coleman was called to the scene after receiving calls to have a young boy removed from the neighborhood. However, upon his arrival, he learned the boy was only in the area because he wanted to do yard work, pulling weeds, cutting grass, trimming hedges, so he could save up for a PlayStation. The young man was polite, respectful, and truthful, the department wrote in a social media post. The officer, a gamer himself, was impressed with the young man and thought he'd help him reach his goal.
You might get told one thing over the radio, and when you show up on scene, it's something completely different. I was just going to try to help him out and reach his goal and let him understand that if you work hard and you're honest, and good things will come to you.
The officer and some of his friends were able to not only get the young man the video gaming system, but a gift card to play the PlayStation membership so he could play immediately, the department said. A video posted to their website, on social media, showed the officer opening his trunk to reveal a PS5 in the back seat, much to the delight of the boy, who covered his face in shock before hugging the officer.
Somebody just did this for you. Like, the game is so expensive, and, somebody just did that for you. You can't do nothing but be so excited. You gotta give him a hug.
As for the future, the department shared that the officer and the boy have some gaming to look forward to.
There you go.
That's a cool story.
Yeah, pretty nice. Zoltan Bathory, the founding guitarist of Five Finger Death Punch, will soon be a playable character in the new season of Call of Duty. Cool. That'd be pretty cool. In a tweet last Wednesday, he revealed his involvement in the anticipated Season 5 of Call of Duty in both Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Warzone when the popular video game franchise drops the new update on Wednesday. He joined several other celebrities who have made Call of Duty cameos over the years, including Kiefer Sutherland, Idris Elba, Ice Cube, Jeff Goldblum, Jason Statham, David Hasselhoff, Tim Blaisdell, Kit Harington, and many others. In more Five Finger Death Punch news, congratulations are in order for the singer of that band, Ivan Moody. He was awarded the key to the city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, during the band's concert last Wednesday. The event took place at the Cheyenne Frontier Days Arena, where Mayor Patrick Collins gave Moody the key to thank him for his support of the Cheyenne community.
So tonight, I want to give Ivan Moody the key to the city and thank him for his work and what he's doing for this great city. You know what this means? You're stuck with me, Cheyenne.
The ceremony was held to honor Moody for moving to the city earlier this summer and opening two businesses, a rock and roll-based gas station and an intensive outpatient facility treating addiction and mental health disorders.
And that's something.
That is something. That's awesome. Tonight on the CW, the pilot episode of the new series Run the Burbs. It follows a young family's life in the suburbs and their oddball neighbors.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Who hurt you? Babe, are we old and uncool? What's that?
You shut your mouth.
Is this a street race?
Get off the car.
That's called Run the Burbs. Rewind the 90s premieres tonight on Nat Geo. Celebrities, eyewitnesses, and pop culture pundits relive the most memorable moments of the decade that ushered in the new millennium while exploring the forces that shaped the decade.
We were all babies in the 90s with technology.
Hip-hop was really coming of age.
There needs to be a princess. There needs to be a wicked witch.
The NSA outlawed Furby because Furby could repeat state secrets.
Then debuting today on Peacock, American Nightmare Becoming Cody Rhodes. A behind-the-scenes look at the story of professional wrestler Cody Rhodes, who grew up in the shadow of his father Dusty as he chased his dream of winning the WWE Championship.
Freshman year, he was unseeded. He took on the #1 seed in the Cobb County tournament as a freshman. Cody beat him, and everybody knew he was going to be a factor in wrestling to come.
I'll never forget the time he said, my junior year, I'm going to win the states. Wow. That's a bold statement, young man.
Cody and I were at rival high schools. My goal was to wrestle Cody, beat him in front of Dusty, and then Dusty would go, oh man, I gotta train you. You're gonna be the best wrestler ever. Like, that was what my teenage brain said that was how I was gonna make it to WWE.
State champ as a junior senior.
Overall, in junior senior year, is 101-2. So 101 wins, only 2 losses. But also, I think I'd only been taken down twice.
The Shaver Shuffle 5K, an annual benefit for the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund, is back this weekend. You can join that bubble butt bad boy Randy Shaver and all the charitable runners, joggers, and walkers Saturday, 9 a.m. in Plymouth, or sign up to run virtually any day next month. All participants will be entered into a drawing for some Apple AirPod Pros, along with prizes for winners in many categories. Registration ends this Thursday. 93X.com has more information, including a link to register for the 2023 Shaver Shuffle 5K. Avenged Sevenfold singer M. Shadows, also a playable character in Call of Duty. He's 42 today. BJ Novak, Ryan on The Office, 44. Blade star Wesley Snipes, 61.
Wesley Snipes?
One of my favorites. Although I hear he's not one of the greatest guys, some people say.
What the hell was that? What was that Wesley Snipes movie where he was Nino Brown? God dang it, Ice-T was in it.
New Jack City?
Yes.
New Jack City. I like that one.
I liked him in the most recent Coming to America, that walk he does. If you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, yeah.
That like pimp walk or whatever he does in Coming to America. I loved him in Blade.
You never saw New Jack City?
No, I saw it.
Oh.
Yeah, New Jack City.
Am I my brother's keeper?
It was good.
Yeah.
Congrats to No Plumbers Crack Jesus and his bride on child number 3. Liquor Hole Off-Road Jesus sent in a happy 25th birthday shout-out to his twin daughters, and that's 93X News.
Coming up next, we'll talk with Carol Evans, Randy Shaver, and Brad Ryder.
Carol Evans, Randy Shaver.
You're a creep. What are you doing? What happened to you?
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Start with messing with Texas for 200.
In 2014, Decatur, Texas rescheduled this holiday back to the 30th as it conflicted with Friday night high school football. Sharon.
What is football?
No, I'm sorry. Sharon?
Real fast 400.
Sifan Hassan holds the women's world record in this track event. 4 minutes, 12.33 seconds. Sharon.
What is the 50-yard dash?
No, I'm sorry. I think a lot of us can do the 50-yard a little faster now. That's a mile. That's a mile she's running there.
Acid rock.
50-yard
Yeah, she's on the spot.
Come on.
Cubby's cranking the acid rock. Hello, Randy Shaver and Brad Effity F Me Running Ryder.
Good morning.
Hope you had a great weekend, boys. Are you feeling
Great
the vibe?
weekend. Yes.
You feeling the vibe?
Yes.
A little bit of a sad weekend for me, I think.
Randy Meisner?
It was last time I get to watch either of my kids play.
Nobody
Sports.
cares, Brad.
I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. You asked if I had a good weekend, and I'm telling you it was a little bit of a sad weekend.
I'm just telling you that Wapple said nobody cares.
We can move on.
I'm just telling you what Wapple said.
You want to coach youth football? They need coaches.
Nope.
You want to? They need umps.
After this weekend, no thanks.
Oh, is that you saw some stuff, huh?
Dude, Cubby, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Brad, you should become a youth basketball and football referee and a youth baseball umpire.
Thank you.
You would have some friggin' stories for us all year round.
You're right. I would. That's for sure. But
become a high school hockey referee and have your first game be War Road versus Edina.
The first thing you have
if you get any trouble along the way.
The first thing you have to know how to do to be a high school hockey referee is to know how to skate. So I think I'm out there because I don't know how to skate.
We should have a skating competition between Randy and Brad.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Because neither one of them have ever put on skates.
That's right. Well, I put on skates. I just can't skate.
Oh.
I do want to thank a couple people for coming up and saying hi over the weekend from Chaska who listened to the program. So thank you.
Oh, that's very nice.
Look, Brad Ryder, Wapple was just busting your chops when he said that nobody cares about your...
No, nobody probably does care.
Well, no, but I want to get back to it, though, despite Wapple's cold-blooded comments. So after this past weekend, both of your kids, I am interested, both of your kids are done playing high school sports.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yep. They were done with high school in the spring, but my daughter played a club softball season this summer, and she finished this past weekend, so she's done with that now too. So we're done.
Let me tell you something. There were a couple of my buddy's parents. They've both passed now. His dad recently passed. Both of his parents are gone. They came and watched, at least for sure, his mother came and watched almost every one of our beer league softball games from the time we were in our early 20s up until we hung it up in our 40s.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty nice.
That's not the same.
No, Brad, these people recently died. Be careful now what you say.
Well, no, I get it, but
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Of course, you're not trying to be insensitive to the
No,
dead.
I'm not.
Well, why is it not the same to watch beer league softball?
Well, it's just a stage at a time in your life that's gone now, and it's not going to come back. And you've had all these memories with these parents and the people that you've hung out with, and the kids that your kids have become friends with, and going off to college with. In my case, going to room with, and so it's just different.
Man, well, maybe it's time to knock the wife up, Brad, and start all over again.
You're really struggling. You're struggling with this, huh?
Well, no,
the kids are growing up. It's the kids are growing up, and
Why don't you play beer league softball?
I used to.
Dust off the mitt.
I still probably could.
That's
but,
not Wobble. There's not enough ice packs on planet Earth. I don't think there's enough ice packs or heating pads on planet Earth to heal the wounds that Brad Ryder will be hauling home. So I understand. It's soon enough. It's just going to be you and the old lady, and that's a darkness that not a lot of us can handle.
That ruins a lot of relationships.
It does.
We'll be fine. It'll be good.
Brad, you can come to my apartment and watch me play Donkey Kong anytime you want.
Okay. Hey, there's an idea.
That's a euphemism for something, Brad. Don't fall for it. I fell for it the first time I met him.
I don't like hearing you so down, Brad Ryder.
I'll be fine. No, I'm just very honest, on the program like I usually am. So
I really loved watching the kids play ball.
I did. Yeah, there were a lot of tears yesterday.
For Pete's sake, you were crying?
I might have shed a couple. Yeah.
Just another Army mechanic. Jesus volunteered.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say it's tough when your daughter runs over to you and she's bawling and she's, giving you a huge hug. It's hard not to cry yourself a little bit.
Sure. No, I understand. There's plenty of people that empathize.
Yeah.
Just another Army mechanic. Jesus said he volunteered to ump 3rd and 4th grade girls softball Saturday and never realized how passionate parents can be at such a young age group.
Oh, yeah.
So my of the two oldest, my stepson played hockey since he was a little kid, and going to all the games. And I thought, wow, some of these parents are pretty passionate. And I know what people are talking about. Softball was a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad, I don't know the difference between baseball with your son and softball, but I experienced the softball, and there was a lot more anger, yelling, berating the umps, that kind of stuff.
It's gotten so ridiculous.
It was way worse than hockey.
Those two. I don't know. I don't have hockey to draw off of, but those two sports are pretty equal. The baseball and softball.
Hey, Brad Ryder, what it do, Jesus? What it do, Jesus recommends something that'll pick up your spirits, maybe a side piece.
Who? Who's that?
What it do, Jesus?
What it do, Jesus is recommending maybe you pick up, if you haven't already picked up a side piece.
You haven't already.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would go over well with the plans to spend more time with the wife, so I'm not sure that
a little something on the side skis. I'll tell you something about this older couple. My buddies folks who came to all our beer league softball games, specifically his mother, never missed a game. They were such straight-laced people. Especially his mother. I don't know how she stomached watching us when we were especially in our 20s, just drunken,
it's brutal,
awful, screaming, yelling, overly competitive, cursing, fighting. And she was right there in the bleachers There were times when I walked over and said, I'm really sorry. I don't know how but she loved it. She barely said a word. Once in a while, if we really got cooking with the bad language at the umpire or the other team, once in a while you'd hear her go, boys.
That's cute.
I don't know how they did it.
My dad would have came and watched me play beer league softball. I almost played before COVID took over. And he was all excited. He's like, "Oh, nice! I'll come watch you play," because he was like you, Brad. That was his favorite thing in the world was watching me play softball growing up. And it sucked a lot for him when that was over for me.
I'm sorry,
too.
did you say he almost came to see you play?
It ended up getting canceled because of COVID. Yeah, that would have been messed up. Yeah,
I considered it,
he
Ashley.
was so close.
I love that. Ashley's like, I know exactly what you mean, Brad. My dad almost watched me play.
Yeah, no, it got canceled. He probably would have been at every game if we did end up playing.
I figured out. I figured out over the years between ball fields and gyms and travel and high school and club and all that stuff. I've been to over 1,000 of my kids' games.
Gee,
that's awesome.
So it is a little tough.
Couple texts coming in for you, Brad. Hot Librarian Cheesa said she's feeling for you. Her dad really enjoyed watching her play sports. Oil Spill Jesus said, Brad, you can take his kids to games while he goes to the bar. If you're interested. Equestrian Jesus said you can still get together with the kids' parents. I know that's a big part of it.
Oh, yeah. We will. Yeah.
And she recommends you start a swingers club or something.
Start one. They've been doing that for years.
You've got options.
Well, I didn't realize, Brad Ryder, that you were hurting so badly, and
Well, I don't want to overstate it.
Well, you already have. You kind of already kind of hijacked the show with your emotional outburst is what you did. But we're here for you.
That's right.
We're here for
Well, I appreciate that.
I think my brother went through the same thing when his kids were done playing high school sports. So, man, this was recommended to you already, Brad, and you shut us down. But my brother's been trying to get women pregnant all over town ever since try to create a new ball player.
It does, Brad. I mean, it's one of those things where your weekends had been planned forever. I know how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Correct, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Well, to start the segment there, Randy was chuckling. A Jeopardy contestant gave what people are calling two of the worst sports-related answers ever.
Have to be.
This was a lady by the name of Sharon Bishop, a high school Spanish teacher from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Maybe she knows the giant chicken. Or Mayor Adam West. Do I have the right town? Pawtucket, Rhode Island?
Yep.
Isn't that where the Family Guy family is from?
You know it.
The Grants? What the hell's their name again?
The Griffins.
The Griffins.
Okay.
Yeah, because they drank Pawtucket ale.
Right. Oh, wow. It says here this lady also once sang backup for Barry Manilow when she was a young lady. I've been alive forever, and I wrote the very first song.
How do you think Barry Manilow did in the 70s?
Oh, I bet he did all right.
Oh, Mandy. So she was on Jeopardy on Friday. She got off to a rough start. The host, Ken Jennings, said, in 2014, Decatur, Texas, rescheduled this holiday back to the 30th as it conflicted with Friday night high school football. And her answer was football. Would the correct answer have been Labor Day or something, or what?
No, Halloween.
Oh, the 30th. I was thinking.
I don't know if it was. That's what I would have guessed.
Good. That's probably right. I was thinking like the September holidays, Labor Day. Okay. And then later, she was asked about the women's world record in this track event. The record is 4 minutes, 12 seconds, and she guessed the 50-yard dash.
That's funny.
The correct answer, Randy, would be the mile?
The mile.
The mile. 50-yard. Well, I know nothing about track and field, and no one cares about track and field, specifically early 80s Iowa State track and field.
Oh, my gosh. Come on.
What is the average 50-yard dash for an athlete?
Well, probably a 5 times somewhere in there.
5 seconds?
Something like
Jesus.
that. Probably.
That's quick.
Looks like the average is about 7 to 10.
Yeah.
But this
The average. I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
This gal still finished second. She won $17,000. I've heard worse answers than that, Josh.
Yeah.
I think I've heard
the Texas
worse.
one was my favorite.
Yeah.
though.
I'd feel so dumb afterwards, though. Like, you look back and you're just, oh.
We had a story like this recently. I think we're all 3 contestants. They airmailed all 5 of the sports questions.
Yes.
One of the
And then-
guys was from Minnesota.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
one of them goes like, well, this is going to go viral.
Yeah. By the way, we were mistaken. The beer thing confused all of us. Pawtucket Ale. They're from Quahog, Family Guy. The Griffins are from Quahog.
Yes.
It's close enough.
They drink that Pawtucket, though.
No, they sure do.
Peter's job. He's not a very good employee.
No.
And you know what else we got going on here? And then we'll dive into the Twins and such. A story here of random Randy Shaver memorabilia.
What?
Random Randy Shaver memorabilia.
Okay.
Some bitch that listens to our program, formerly Vividly Clean Jesus. What's the new name? Anyway, formerly maybe that is the name, formerly Vividly Clean Jesus, found at a thrift store, at an antique shop, a Randy Shaver golf card that looks to me about 25 years old.
Okay.
Do you remember Randy Shaver taking little
Yes.
cute pictures with golf clubs and golf balls, and you're wearing golf outfits and whatnot?
That is correct.
Was this something you'd hand out at the state fair?
Yes.
Oh. In this particular example, it's a little trading card, and on the card, I know 2 of the guys in the picture. One of them is Randy Shaver, and you're hunched over with a, what do you call that thing you do, the smallest club that you got?
The putter?
The putter. You're hunched over. What?
I'm hunched over because of the putter. Yes.
You got one of those putters, and squatting behind you was a former coworker of mine. The sock monkey is what my sister called him, Tim McNiff.
Sure.
And then a guy whose name I recognize but not the face, Jeff Hagedorn. This must have been the sports staff.
It was. Jeff Hagedorn was with us for a short period of time. He used to work for KFAN, and he did a little bit of TV with us, too.
So can you give us an idea of what year this picture came from?
Oh,
you look exactly like your son Ryan in this picture.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
It's probably in the 90s. I would say probably mid to late 90s.
I'm going to guess early to mid 90s too, because that's when I worked at the university, and I remember you three together doing sports back
So you
then.
handed these out at the
mid to late though.
Yeah.
That's cute. Thank you, formerly Vividly Clean Jesus. He found this sumbitch and wanted to make
Would
us.
you like me to autograph it, Nick?
Maybe Vividly Clean, formerly Vividly. Personally, you're autographing word jack squat to me. I'll tell you that right now. They found it at this antique shop for $1 in Cambridge.
That's hilarious.
In Cambridge. Did you have a girlfriend up in Cambridge or something at the time?
I did not, no.
Timmy McNiff. We worked together on the radio for a stretch of time. We had some fun. On the air, we called him Young Tim.
Sure.
But my sister had such a crush on him. And she said, no offense, Josh.
No, it's okay.
And she said that he kind of looked like those little sock monkeys that you have as a kid, you know. She wanted, you know what I'm talking about, a sock monkey? Anybody?
No. Certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
You've
gray.
definitely seen it.
Yeah, it's all
Maybe it's just called something
gray.
else.
Yeah. She said he was her little sock monkey. That's a cute picture of the three of you, Randy. That's great when you can find old, goofy stuff like that laying around.
They use sock monkeys a lot for dog toys.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My sister wanted to make Tim McNiff her dog toy. I'll tell you that. Chew that sumbitch out, spit him out on the side of the road, so to speak. Well, the Twins had a terrible time in Kansas City.
What an awful weekend.
Now, you may not agree with me, but I know a guy who had a worse time in Kansas City, Cubby.
Oh,
Now, he didn't get swept by a last-place ball club.
No.
But if I remember right, he did step on a used condom in bare feet.
I did. Yeah.
Oh.
So what's worse, getting swept by the Royals and it's hotter than hell, the weather's too hot, or
Yeah,
stepping
it was
on
super hot. The air conditioning broke at the hotel. I was uncomfortable. I woke up to a man laying on the other bed, completely naked on top of the comforter. I should specify, I know this man, and we were not intimate.
You were familiar with the man?
Yeah, one of my best friends of all time. Yeah, we were not intimate, but he was with one of the bridesmaids
And then,
in our shared bathroom.
because of how respectful and considerate he was, he put his used condom on the floor.
Right in the path to the bathroom.
And
yeah.
then you stepped on it with. I'd rather be swept by the Royals, to be totally honest.
Me too.
Yes.
Definitely.
But that sucked. They got beat yesterday 2-1, couldn't get the bats going. The other games were high-scoring games. I mean, Friday night was absolute misery watching. By the way, Landon McGinn Jr., what's the kid who had 11 hits in 12 at-bats and 72?
Bobby Witt
Bobby
Jr.
Witt Jr. When's he going to learn how to hit the baseball, right?
Landon McGwitt. Well, I'll tell you what, the home run he hit off of Duran.
That's the one I'm referencing from Friday night.
Unbelievable.
That's
How do you even get a bat on the ball on a pitch that's 104 inside?
Oh, come on, Randy. I don't
He
know.
looked like he took a half a swing at that.
Everybody in the ballpark knew he was going to throw a fastball. He was walking
Well, sure,
everybody.
But how do you still get a bat on it? It's just amazing.
Because you're McAllister McGinn Jr., or whatever his name is. No, he's a great player.
Wow.
Miserable Friday night.
This is a team that's 43 games under 500. 43 games under 500.
Here we go.
And you get swept.
They hadn't won 3 in a row all year.
No, they
I'm
had.
just saying, this is, God, again, here we go now. It's almost August, and you're going to have to hold on with your fingernails to this club to see if they can win the worst division in baseball. It's amazing.
Yeah. I remember. Do you remember what you said Friday? Hey, here we go. We're going to Kansas City. Now's a chance to make up some ground, or now's a chance to gain some momentum.
I also said when they lost the game to Seattle, that was a bad loss, and I said it's one of those losses that could stick with you too.
I'm not calling you out because this is certainly not completely ridiculous that the Twins would get swept by anybody. I mean, the Twins are a good ball club, but they're susceptible to these kinds of things. We all know that. It wasn't. I don't think it shocked too many people that they would get swept. Really. I mean, if you've been watching this club, this season, you know that
I don't
nothing's
disagree,
impossible.
But here's the thing: they're healthy now. Polanco's back in the lineup. Farmer's there. Buxton's back. They shouldn't be losing to Kansas City. It just should not be happening. At least not getting swept.
Starting tomorrow night, they'll play 3 games in St. Louis, and the Cardinals are another last-place team in their division.
A little bit different scenario than Kansas City, but yes.
Texas Rangers made a trade for, Max Scherzer.
Rangers are making a lot of deals right now. They just traded for Jordan Montgomery from the Cardinals. They have
the third best record in the American League, so they're sniffing it a little bit.
They are trying. Well, they know that Houston is right there, and the Angels are also another team that have gone all in on solidifying their roster. But you're right; it's a free for all now in the American League with these teams, feeling like they've at least get a wild card spot, if anything else.
Max Scherzer traded from the Metropolitans to the Rangers. He hasn't exactly been killing it.
No, he's been hurt a little bit, too.
But everyone knows what his potential is. Everyone knows what he's capable of. Max Scherzer's one of the best right-handers in the game and has been for a long damn time. And now Justin Verlander's going to be traded, everyone's saying, from the Mets to somebody who's a competitor.
The Mets keep saying this is not a fire sale, but it's a fire sale.
It says right here, Justin Verlander may be the next to be traded from the Mets to the Twins.
Not to the Twins.
All right, I added that last part. Maybe the Twins will trade for Justin Verlander. What do you think the chances are the Twins trade for? All right. They need bats.
I think they need bats.
Of course they need bats.
And they need bullpen.
The White Sox have upped and cleaned house. They traded Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly to the Dodgers.
They traded Giolito to the Angels. They're saying we're done. And retooling.
Sounds like former Twin Big Sexy Bartolo Colon is finally going to let go and move on with his life. He's going to go ahead and officially retire from baseball. What were we talking about Colon last week? Weren't we saying something?
He was like in the Hall of Fame ballot.
Oh, is that what we were talking about?
I think so.
Okay. Now, word is Bartolo Colon retired for real back on June 2nd, but he wants to officially retire as a New York Met. So on September 17th, he'll be honored during a ceremony right before the Mets take on the Cincinnati Reds over at the Mets ballpark. The first 15,000 fans at the game will also receive a Big Sexy long sleeve shirt to commemorate the event. We all got our hands on Big Sexy memorabilia when he was in town, right? They had a T-shirt giveaway and things like that. He's 50.
What a time to be alive. We had Big Sexy and the Turtle.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
What a time to be alive.
While in New York, playing for the Mets back in 2016, he hit his only career home run against the San Diego Padres. I remember that being a wonderful highlight.
That was so cool.
If anybody can find that real quick, maybe the call of Bartolo Colon's only career home run against the Padres at home. I remember the bench. The only time a bench has laughed harder was when Mike Redmond
had a triple.
Right.
I think I've got it.
First hit of the year. He drives one. Deep left field. Back goes Upton. Back near the wall. It's out of here. Bartolo has done it. The impossible has happened. His first career home run. This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball. Bartolo Colon zone has gone deep.
I want to say that was one of the longest home run trots I've ever seen, but I think that's how fast he runs.
Is the dugout having a good time there or what, Cubby?
For sure.
That's good.
He's 42.
He's 50 now. Oh, he was 42 at the time?
Yeah, when he hit the bomb.
Yeah, that's something for any 42-year-old to hit a home run, but him at 42.
Right.
Yeah. Hearing that Bartolo Colon is now 50. All right, maybe you had to be there, but Wapple, remember this when The Miz and John Morrison were a tag team together years ago in the WWE? They were, as you guys know, The Miz is a very funny guy. John Morrison's no slouch either, right? They had some great promos making fun of the other tag teams in the WWE. And at the time, they had a program going with DX, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And they were back to doing the old suck it DX bit, all that rebellious stuff. But it was, whatever, 15 years beyond the original DX. But they brought the gimmick back. So there's Shawn Michaels and Triple H doing the DX bit again. Miz and Morrison are in the ring, and they say to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, well, first thing you got to know is the intro music for DX was always a voice that said, "Are you ready?" And then they'd hit the punk rock music and all that. So Morrison and Miz say, "Hey, Shawn and Hunter, we've got a new idea for your intro music. It should start like this. Are you 50? That was awesome! I mean, even Hunter and Shawn, they had a smirk on their face.
Yeah,
That's
you
good.
have to.
Are you 50? What's this? Kevin Garnett once partied all night with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, that's great. Have you seen that?
I saw the video.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Brad, did you ever party all night with Kevin Garnett when you were working for or being, connected to the Timberwolves?
No, never did.
Lame.
Why didn't you?
Yeah, had conversations with him about stuff like that, but never did anything.
This is probably one of the most unprofessional I've ever done. We get the motherfucking Toronto. Yo, Snoop in town. Snoop playing tonight. Like, for real? Oh, hell no. We got to get some tickets. So we go to the show banging. Snoop killed that shit. Dog, I think we hung out till like...
The sun came up. I looked out my window, nigga. I said, these niggas still here and the sun is rising.
Hey, listen, we played the Toronto Raptors at noon, halftime. I'm leading the league in rebounds. I have no rebounds. Kim says, damn it, guys, you Toronto fans that get to see you once, you goddamn it come here and play like shit. You motherfuckers hanging out with Snoop, you got Snoop.
You got snooped.
So when he was back the second time, that was right about the time where we were going through the Target Center renovation process, and he had all kinds of ideas about different VIP areas for players only, and I mean, there's stuff I can't repeat that he wanted in that renovation process. So yeah,
okay. Oh,
you can about imagine.
I could hear Flip, though, screaming at him like, you got snooped.
You're up all night partying with Snoop. You guys got snooped. Said they were drinking and partying until about 5, 6 a.m. They had a noon game against Toronto that day.
Ouch.
KG was leading the league in rebounds. He had 0 at halftime. Yeah, I bet you Flip was pissed.
Be funny if Snoop did that like regularly, would take guys out partying and then put $10,000 on the other team to win the next day.
Probably our players who have done that. KG said that was very unprofessional of him. I want to party with Kevin Garnett all night long.
Yeah, fun.
Brad's old drinking buddy, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Bottles, Jimmy Buckets.
General Soreness.
Yeah, he's got a basketball and cheerleading camp coming up in late August in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. If you hand him $699 in trade, you can play him one-on-one.
In trade?
Yeah, what do you don't know what that means?
Well, yeah, but how do... I'm curious to know.
You pay, I guess most people say you pay him $699.
Oh, okay.
I kind of brought it back to an old school term that was even too old for Brad.
Yeah.
What kind of game plan do you put together, Brad Ryder, to face Jimmy Butler in a game of one-on-one? Well, first things first, you borrow $699 from Randy.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
What kind of game? How do you go at Jimmy Bottles, Brad?
Well, the only move I really would have is not to let him see me warm up, and then try to go left as hard as possible because I'm left-handed the first time and see if he.
There you go.
You sound like you thought about this.
He doesn't know that you're a lefty.
Right.
Okay. You start
But
there.
after that first move, I'm done probably.
All right.
Who would you pay $699 to go against Nick? Like maybe Tara Reid in a little shower rescue? Or...
Oh, I would win shower rescue.
Well, you've got a lot of experience.
I've been playing it for decades, yeah.
No, but if you were going to play basketball against somebody.
Oh, wow. I'd have to go
Would
back.
it be KG?
KG's a great answer. But I think I'd have to go with my favorite all-time player. I'd have to play one-on-one against the Dream, Akeem Olajuwon. Although I'd be crying the entire time because I'm playing basketball against Akeem the Dream, F me running Olajuwon. It's a good question, though. I'd probably go Akeem.
What about, is there any current or former NBA player you think you might have a chance against?
Yeah, Rudy Gobert. I really think that not only me, but any of us have more offensive ability than Rudy Gobert. As long as I can put enough arc on my shot, I bet I could beat him. Rudy Gobert. That's the liquor talking. What about the rest of you? Randy?
Who would I like to go one?
Who would you like to? Well, Jerry West.
Well, sure, but.
And who do you think you could take? Come on now.
I don't think I could take anybody.
Oh.
Maybe Muggsy Bogues. Maybe.
I guarded former Gopher and NBA player Sam Jacobson in a pickup game once.
Good luck.
He got the best of me.
Good luck.
Yeah. And he was given minimal effort. You know, I think he was just playing for fun. But he took me to the rack on the first possession, and then we're jogging back down.
Sam was the best high school basketball player I've ever seen in Minnesota. I'm sorry, just is.
Why are you apologizing?
I know there's a lot of big great ones. I mean, Suggs and Chet Holmgren are out there, and all those guys, Prisbilla, all those guys.
Chris Humphries.
Sam Jacobson was the best high school basketball player.
Who did he play for again?
He played for Park Cottage Grove.
That's right.
When I was at Wolves practices, every time I saw J.J. Barea, I thought to myself, I'd want a piece of that. I want to see if I could have some of that.
You weren't looking at his wife?
well, maybe that too.
You'd like a piece of both.
Man.
You'd think you could take him on certain days when you'd watch him in practice.
You couldn't. I loved J.J. Barea, man. He was so fun to watch. He was fun to watch. Football stuff. Daniil Hunter agreed to a one-year deal with the Vikings. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, they didn't really have a choice, right? Otherwise, he wasn't going to play. So,
well, I thought they were going to trade him.
Well, they could trade him, I guess, but they really want him to be a part of their roster. So,
all right.
I think it's hard for me right now to determine what the market is for certain positions anymore because I thought running back deserved a decent market, and that's not happening right now. I see Jonathan Taylor's may not even play this year now for the Colts, and they're coming up with some sort of back injury that he had coming into training camp where they won't have to lose him, that they can keep him under contract for a year and not pay him or something. It's bizarre right now.
Yeah, it's tough to follow. All right, so he's back with the Vikes. He puts a little pressure on the quarterback now and again.
They need that.
Sure does.
Because they were near the bottom of that category last year.
Speaking of little guys, you were talking about Muggsy Bogues and J.J. Barea. Did you see this? I think he's a rookie running back for the Dallas Cowboys by the name of Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
He's 5'5". Everyone's comparing him to Darren Sproles, who was a tiny little guy. Folks say that he'll make the team. Video of him running around in practice at 5'5".
Hilarious.
It looks like a cartoon.
No, it looks like a 10-year-old is out there trying to run against these guys. Yeah, I think he played at Kansas State.
Yeah.
Very, very good player. But, I mean, and, Zeke's no longer on the roster, so he's got a pretty good chance to make the roster as the backup to Tony Pollard.
Who's Zeke?
Zeke Elliott.
Oh, right. I forgot about that sumbitch.
No longer on the roster.
This was cold-blooded right here. Jonathan Garvin. Anyone ever heard the name? He is, or was, a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. He celebrated his 24th birthday this past Friday, and the Packers wished him a happy birthday with a tweet Friday morning around 9 a.m. And the tweet said, "Smile, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Jonathan Garvin." And it's a picture of him smiling. 3 hours later, they cut his ass.
That's messed up.
They cut him. Pack your bags, get out.
They didn't communicate.
Now, never saw it, but it says here, someone or another on Twitter compared this to a character called Kevin Malone on a program called The Office, who got fired with a frosted cake. Does that make any sense? It sounds like
I'm
Brad.
a huge Office fan. I remember this episode.
Brad, pardon me, Josh, The Office, Kevin Malone.
I didn't see that
say?
episode.
Yeah, okay. I don't follow the UFC, but apparently a cat by the name of Derek Lewis won his match at UFC 291. But it was what he did following his victory is what fans are talking about. He beat up some dude named Marcos something or another. After the referee called the fight, Derek Lewis pulled off his shorts and he got down to just his Duluth Trading Company nut huggers or whatever. You know,
Sure.
what do they call that? I wear them. Boxer briefs.
Yep.
He got down to his boxer briefs. As soon as I said I wear, Dana's like, I know what underwear Nick wears. He took off his shorts and waved them in the air, and then he dumped speaking of DX, he dumped a few D-Generation X classic suck it pumps on the crowd. This guy's funny. Have you seen him before? Is this the guy who's kind of notorious for giving funny interviews and whatnot? Have I seen?
He kind of looks familiar.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize him.
Okay, fair enough. I must be thinking of somebody else.
No, you might be right. But what he was doing
really
was
familiar.
distracting. You can see it on 93x.com.
Took his shorts off and then fired a couple of sockets. Boom, 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 boom. 3, 4 of them. Right at you, Randy. Derek Lewis. If you want to see a large man in just his underwear, 93x.com. Right, Ashley?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's the place for that kind of thing.
All right, in closing, I thought you guys would get a kick out of this from USA Today. They had a little conversation here about 5 iconic sports moments that are probably lies. Just lies. They mention here that certain sports stories add to the mystique of legends like Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle. But these guys benefited from the fact that technology wasn't close to where it is today. Games weren't broadcasted worldwide. And when they were on video, grainy black and white footage left plenty of room for the imagination. That's not to say that sports urban legends are useless. They're fun. But these are some of the stories from the past that should be viewed with skepticism. They start with every 500-foot home run before StatCast. Before StatCast launched in 2015, USA Today says, home run projections were basically made up on the spot.
It's kind of eyeballing it.
Sure.
Given the advancements in equipment and player fitness, there's no way that dudes were hitting 550-foot home runs while lugging around a 40-ounce bat back in 1937 or whatever.
Sure.
But no sports fan loves blatant lies more than baseball historians. Even the Baseball Hall of Fame touts Mickey Mantle's 565-foot home run at Griffith Stadium as a thing that actually happened. They say the home run was closer to 460 feet. Don't get them wrong, they say that's still a bomb. But the Yankees press secretary guessed the home run distance based on the spot where the ball stopped rolling.
Jeez.
Like hitting the cart path in golf and counting that. You know?
Sure.
A similar method, they say, was applied to every 500-foot home run of that era. Makes sense.
Before StatCast, I used to see this happen in the Metrodome press box. Tom Mee, the former Twins PR guy, he was the official scorer. A home run would go out, and he had a chart where the ball would land, and if a ball would land, say, in the 11th row in the lower deck in left field, he'd pull out his chart, and he'd have a number next to there, and that's how far he would say the home run would be hit.
Yep, that's correct.
Here's a left-handed specialist, Jesus, texting in. Here's another good sports myth, that Derek Jeter was a good shortstop.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Jeets.
What the hell was that?
I just dumped a Jeets.
Why would you do that?
I'm sorry. Things were going so well.
We're having a good time. That sounded like you were supportive of Derek Jeter, which we don't do around here in Minnesota. And then you even called him Jeets. All right. They say not to pile on Babe Ruth, but another sports moment that is probably a lie was him calling his shot in the 1932 World Series about how he pointed to center field and then the next pitch he launched to center field. They say there's very grainy footage. There's been debate from day one of what he really was doing. Was he pointing to center field saying, I'm going to hit a home run? Was he waving a fly out of his face? There's all kinds of... So they're saying that it likely isn't true that he called his shot.
Huh.
You'd never heard those controversies before, Randy?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Also, Bobby Hull's 118-mile-per-hour slap shot. I hadn't heard this one before. I hadn't. But they say just as baseball players benefited from inflated distances on home runs, Bobby Hull's legendary 118-mile-per-hour slap shot is treated as fact in NHL circles despite the unreliable technology in the 60s. His obituary from the New York Times even mentioned the slap shot velocity. That was, according to USA Today, again, don't be jumping on me if you're some hardcore that believes all. According to USA Today, that said this was absolutely inaccurate. He never fired a 118-mile-per-hour. The Immaculate Reception. The late, great Franco Harris.
Yes.
Caught the deflected pass in the playoff game against Oakland. The play isn't as much of a lie as they say it's simply up for debate, and it has been from the word go. You talk to any member of that Oakland Raiders team, they say that ball hit the friggin' ground.
Right.
Or they say that ball hit, what was his name, Fuqua?
Frenchie Fuqua.
Frenchie Fuqua. And they say the ball hit Frenchie. And if that was true,
then it's illegal.
It would have been an illegal catch. You can't proceed with that. So
back in that day, you couldn't go from offense to offense.
Right. And they talk about how horrible the camera angles were. I mean,
they missed it.
Yeah, and you can't blame them. The ball was pinballing around. And where's the football?
Well, you have to remember back in that time period, TV broadcasts of the football games were very minimal. I mean, they only not like today where there's like 30 cameras.
Oh, yeah. Hell no.
And everybody's isolated. Back then, you may have had 5 cameras.
Yeah. Right. So there was a couple at the 50-yard line, a couple in the end zone, and that was it.
Yep, that's it.
And finally, amongst this could go on and on. I mean, the one that still drives me crazy is that friggin' stupid lunatic tuck rule thing. I had a big bunch of money on the Raiders, and that was a friggin' fumble. But anyway, we could go on. Finally, on the USA Today list was Wade Boggs cross-country beer drinking.
I want to believe that one's true.
How could you not? USA Today says, I refuse to believe that Wade Boggs drank somewhere between 70 and 107 beers on a single cross-country flight.
Right.
Survived that and then went 3 for 5 the next day. He can tell the story as many times as he wants. It doesn't make it true. There's just no way. That's good stuff. I like that. That's fun. I mean, it's fun to look back at some of those players and moments, and also kind of fun to consider if, my God, it's all been BS all these years and we bought it, you know? And yes, someone just texted in, yes, Franco Harris eyeballed me at an airport, yes.
They don't believe you?
Well, they said, was Franco staring you down at the airport a myth? No, that really happened. I don't know why. This was 25 years ago. I'm standing at the airport in Los Angeles, and I look across the friggin' aisle, and Franco Harris is staring at me, and he is not taking his friggin' eyes off of me. Like he was going to come over and choke me to death. And I said to my ex-wife, I said, do you see this friggin' guy eyeballing me across the way? And she said, yeah. And I said, that's Franco Harris. And she said, who's Franco Harris? And I said, I want a divorce. All right, there you go, boys.
People are mentioning this moment from Derek Lewis, the UFC fighter that took off his shorts, waved them around, and did the suck it moves.
Yeah.
So praying to God there's no swear words here.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
Yeah, he gets it.
We've all been there. Right, Ashley?
Yep.
Then it is the same guy. That was the guy I was wondering about, the guy who kind of says what's on his mind.
You could substitute anybody's name in there instead of Lewis. You know what I'm saying? You could audio sub somebody's name. Wapple, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot. They get hot. Well, Randy, you're too old to remember those days, but they get hot. All right, gentlemen. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Great way to start the week.
Wasn't it? I agree with you, Randy. Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Brad on Wednesday.
Okay.
We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep. Going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Help us all. It's Monday morning. It's 93X Rock. It's still relatively early in the morning. Thank you for listening to the Half-Assed Morning Show. It's going to be a hell of a week. I mean, just a hell of... Uh-oh, Josh.
What?
You know how you don't want to get me started on societal norms.
Well, you're not afraid to go there.
I am not. We're going to talk about societal norms, and I always run hot when they come up. I'm kidding. I actually couldn't care less.
There are some weird ones, I suppose.
It's the next route we're going to take here on the program. Some weird ones, you say?
There's weird ones out there.
Somebody went on stupid social media and asked this question. What are some societal... I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Social norms. See?
That's the same.
See how wound up I get? I mispronounce it. I was reading societal, social. That's the same thing, right?
Yep, it's the same.
But I'll go with social. Someone asked, what are some social norms that are pretty weird if you think about it? So, these are some of the things. Most of us just do without thinking. But if you do think about it, it doesn't make much sense. They use this example, blowing out candles on a cake when it's your birthday.
It's gross.
I'm sorry, that's gross?
Yeah. I mean, everybody does it, but it's gross.
Because you're blowing your spit, particles, germs on the... Okay. I never considered it gross. Anyone else considered it gross?
No, but I know people do. But it's never bothered me. Just give me the cake.
Yeah, if I think about it too much, it weirds me out.
I thought it was more like a blessing. Like at church, you know, they have the
holy spit?
Yeah, the holy spit.
Yeah, it's actually water, Wapple.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they blessed the cake.
Well, you blessed a mood. I don't know if you blessed it. Why do we blow candles up on top of a birthday cake when we get a year older? Anyone know the deep... 1705.
To see how many boyfriends or girlfriends you have.
Origin. What about boyfriends and girlfriends?
Does everybody else do that? Yeah, because if you blow out all your candles except for like 3. It's like, oh, Ashley's got 3 boyfriends.
Oh, I remember that gimmick coming up once or twice.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's
Okay, according to cakebuzz.com, which is where I go for a lot of political views as well. Well, I'm going to guarantee the legitimacy of this. While this began with a superstitious belief the smoke from the candles would carry wishes to the gods, nowadays we do it just to celebrate our birthday.
Wow, the smoke carries wishes to the gods.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Boy, there was a time we talked like that, didn't we?
We sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you make your wish, you blow out the candles, and that smoke will bring it right up to the god.
Go ahead, son. Make your wish and blow the smoke to the gods, and we will have a finer crop this. Does anyone else have a cake-related website that Josh could look up?
Cakesitting.com.
All right.
Oh, Mrs. Wessel's on there.
And the birthday cake says to Dana.
Oh,
God.
The things. So his own mother is. What was that? Where are you going? Is that like an incestual joke?
That sounded that way, kind of.
We break a lot of balls on this program. We don't often go with incest. Man. So these are things that we do. We don't even think about them. But if you do, they might not make much sense. Let's see where we can go with this. Here's some of the internet's best responses from this friggin' social media thing. Paying tens of thousands of dollars to bury corpses in the ground.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you don't. My family doesn't need to do that for me. They can just blast me into the ocean.
I was thinking
That sounds expensive, too.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's like push me under a bed somewhere.
I think it's kind of funny too. People like they pay like rent for a plot, so they're not even dead yet, but they're paying for the land where
They're
they'll be
saving their spot.
Yeah.
Is that what you
it's
mean?
always weirded me out a little.
Yeah.
Really? We've considered doing that.
But
Just so, like nobody else had to.
yeah, I just think it's weird.
Well, fair enough. To rent a small portion of earth in order to save it for a dead body. You think that? Of course that's weird, yeah.
I've got a little slice of heaven right there at the Chipotle in Eagan, the north one.
Yeah.
Chipotle North.
That would only be right.
I mean, yeah, I've been lucky. I haven't gotten involved yet in what it costs to bury a loved one. But I hear it's
not cheap.
Ridiculous.
And I want to say around 10 grand sounds right. I'm trying to remember what it was with my dad. I mean, shoot, this is 10 years ago. I know, like, the headstone, that's a big part of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Does anyone know the difference in price between burying someone in the ground, or you just go ahead and burn them up and save the ashes? Put them in a bucket.
I'm not sure.
Pretty significant.
Pretty significant?
Because even between, like, buying a casket, if you don't cremate someone, and my dad chose cremation, like, way early. He just wanted to go. He wasn't even sick at the time.
No.
He's like, just cremate me immediately. He just said whatever's cheaper, and that was by far cheaper.
So your dad was cremated?
Yeah.
But yet you also put him in a grave?
Yes.
And had the headstone and everything?
Yep.
Is that common?
I don't know. It seemed to be there.
I always thought that cremation, you kept them at the house, right?
Yeah, I did
Well,
too.
you
that's what I always
can.
thought.
Yeah.
We did with one of our dogs, but my dog was more affectionate to me than my dad ever was.
I guess maybe I wouldn't want to keep it at my house. I'd be too afraid that something would happen to it.
Ghosts?
Yes, that too.
Ah,
I have some friends that moved into a house, and in the basement they found an urn with ashes, and they don't know what to do with it.
Just keep it.
just roll it and smoke it.
A cremation can be anywhere from $700 to $3,000, and a typical burial service can be between $10,000 and $12,000.
Geez, so it's like a 10 grand difference.
I mean, even the caskets are expensive.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of people, when discussing this, social norms that make no sense. A lot of them talked about funeral costs, burying somebody, weddings.
Yeah, I think going into debt for a wedding, that's a rough way to start.
Why does a wedding have to be so friggin' expensive?
So expensive.
And they get you for everything.
Yeah, it's funny if you go to like a hair salon or something and you ask, to get your hair done, it'll be, and then you go to the same salon and you ask to get your wedding hair done. just because you said the word wedding, it's like 3 times the cost.
Yep.
Other folks brought up things like, what do they call that dopey gimmick? Yay, we're having a baby. What's the word again? Gender reveal. That's a whole different level of stupidity and self-serving behavior. Okay, another social norm that makes no sense when you think smooth about it. Balloons. And the direct quote is, "Here's a plastic sack of my breath. Happy birthday."
You got to go helium.
I don't know.
For the comedy afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. Ties being the standard for business attire.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, isn't it?
Don't know how to tie one.
I like them, though. They look good.
Who does?
Yep.
I do.
You do?
But I only know just one knot. I don't know some of the fancier knots.
Yeah, same here.
Do you have like a certain video you look up on YouTube if you ever need help?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I know how to tie it.
I've learned that like guys, most guys have like a signature video on YouTube that if they forgot how to do it, they go to that one.
I was in a wedding. We were all getting ready, and then someone's like, "All right, which one of us knows how to tie a tie?" I mean, none of us guys did. We had to go get somebody's dad to come tie our ties for us.
Oh, that's cute.
I had to.
Go ahead.
I had to when I worked at McDonald's when I was a manager. That's how I knew how to do it.
Bow ties are where it's at.
Clip-ons.
There you go.
Clip-on bow ties are where it's at. Okay, next up, the next social norm that doesn't make much sense. All the random rules about texting people. Texting is supposed to be a way to talk to people and they can respond at their own convenience. Okay, so it sounds like it's evolved to where if someone texts you, you better get back to them right away or something's wrong. What's your problem? You never texted me back. This has made a lot of people unstable, texting being so common. Number one, people assume you can read sarcasm. Do you know what I mean? It's way too wide open with the texting now. People think it is the same as a face-to-face conversation. It is not. But I'm probably in the minority with that.
No, I'm with you on that.
I agree.
But
why haven't you texted me back? I texted you, you didn't text back. Because it's a friggin' text. There is a difference. I don't need to be eyeballing my phone all day waiting for a message from you. If you really want to get a hold of me, come see me or call me.
I learn texting rules from the young folks on our show all the time.
I try to keep you updated.
You do? Well, you sometimes, but I mean, like, for the longest time, you thought I was mad at you because I put periods at the end of sentences and used proper grammar. Oh, I had no idea that was hard. You mentioned that one before. It still kind of baffles me, but anytime I text you or a young person, I just don't have any periods in there because I don't want anybody upset.
I like it.
But then somebody's going to look at it and go, boy, this guy doesn't mind a run-on sentence.
I hate what texting has become. One time I had a buddy pull me aside. I've known this guy my whole life. He pulls me aside and says, "Hey, something wrong? I mean, between the two of us, or did I do something to upset you?" And I said, "No, why?" "Well, because you haven't texted me back in like 4 months."
That's a lot.
And I said, "Really?" "Yeah, you haven't texted me in 4 months. Not a damn thing that I say you respond to." And I said, "Oh, Christ, I got a new phone. I got a new number." And he says, oh, you got a new number. Oh, I didn't know that. And I said, "You couldn't have talked to me any time between then and 4 months have gone by? You know what I mean?" It's just, all right. The phone company effed me. I had to get a new number.
That sucks.
All right, what else is here? A social norm that makes no sense when you think about it. Cards. Giving Hallmark money in exchange for a piece of paper that someone's going to look at for about 10 seconds and then forget about it.
I'm with
Very
you on
big
that
on
one.
cards.
You are?
Yeah,
and
I
know
love cards.
I know people are. Like my wife, I've just told her, don't waste the money on cards for me. Because that's pretty much what it is I look at it, think, oh, that's very nice, and then I kind of peek and watch her walk around the corner, and then I recycle it.
I saved mine. And like I actually do go back and look at them sometimes.
Yeah,
It's nice.
I keep birthday cards and whatnot. What the hell?
Nice little memory.
It's only a couple bucks for a friggin' greeting card, really, right?
Dude, some of them are
Some of them
pricey
get spendy
now.
these days.
I was looking at them the other day. There was like $8 for a card.
You got to go to the dollar store.
Yeah, that's
true.
smart.
There's the ones that sing to you and whatnot?
No, it was just was nice. I guess it had expensive font.
Is this true from Crazy Fish Guy Jesus? In Germany, the family has to continue to rent the plot where a body is buried. If they don't pay, the body's dug up and moved somewhere else so another body can be put there.
Sucks.
All right, we're talking social norms that make no real sense when you think about it. We'll cover the rest of this when we come back on the program.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, here's what we got cooking on the program, and we're getting ready to roll here shortly. The stupid internet, social media, has been talking about social norms that make no sense when you think about them. We figured we'd dive in and see what the hell gives way here. Social norms that make no sense when you think about them, like we've covered so far, paying a hell of a lot of money for weddings or burying a sumbitch, balloons on your birthday, ties being the standard for business attire, texting becoming such a friggin' mess and everyone takes it too seriously, greeting cards, you're paying Hallmark to, and then your girlfriend looks at her birthday card and she throws it in the garbage. You're paying them for nothing. Next on the list of social norms that make no sense, clapping, showing appreciation by smacking our hands together to make noise.
I guess it is kind of weird when you think about it.
I was just thinking about this last week or so. I was watching this documentary on 80s hair bands, and Kip Winger of Winger, they're still performing, but he also does classical music now. He's a composer, and they showed one of his first shows, and everybody's clapping. And I thought, what a weird way to show appreciation. That's the first time I ever really considered it. Like, the first person that did it, I bet everybody's looking at him like, what are you doing, man?
What a weirdo.
Or does this go back to the Dark Ages or something, clapping to show appreciation? I have no idea, but I can tell you, my favorite sarcastic clap story. You know, the sarcastic clap? The spot where you normally see it. This bit's been played out to death. I really dislike it when it plays out this way. At the bar, someone drops a beer on the floor, and I'm tired of that bit. You got to find something. A decent line I've heard is someone has shouted out, "That's one way to do it." Okay, that's way better than. Okay.
My favorite is, especially if it's like something like at the bar where you drop something, job opening.
Job opening.
I haven't heard that before.
Put that anywhere. Sometimes people say, yeah, go ahead and put that in. Anyway, I got a great sarcastic clap story for you. A buddy of mine, maybe one of the more cold-blooded moves in the history of mankind. His dad died. And then at the gathering, the buffet, what do they call that in the business? The
reception?
The luncheon. Afterwards, right? It was at his parents' house. And there's a bunch of us young guys sitting at a table and all of his family. It's very, very somber. His dad died very young. And it's very quiet during the luncheon because of the sadness, of course. And his 135-year-old grandmother is barely walking across the room carrying a massive bowl of pasta salad.
Oh, no.
And we're watching, and his grandmother, she drops it on the floor. Crash. The glass bowl crashes. Pasta salad everywhere. My buddy, whose dad had just died, does this. Hey, there you go, Grandma. Oh, my God. I was laughing so hard, I thought they were going to throw me out of the place.
God.
It was the meanest but yet funniest thing I'd ever seen. Okay, what time is it?
I bet he couldn't even control. I mean, you're trained in school to do that if somebody drops their lunch tray.
Oh, my God.
You're trained to applaud.
He meant to do it. He was oh God, that was so good. And his grandmother looks over at him. You know, my son has just died. Maybe don't give me a hard time dropping the. Maybe I've gone too far, but that was very funny. Okay, buying cat litter is a social norm that makes no sense. We buy special dirt for our cats to poop in.
Cat litter makes sense to me.
Yeah,
It's for the owner's benefit.
As a member, as an elite member of society, a cat owner, I got no problem with cat litter. They put certain chemicals in there that dummies exactly clumps it up, makes it easy. Who's complaining about cat litter?
Yeah.
Go get dirt out of your own backyard then. How cheap can you be?
I want my cat to poop in dirt and then walk across the carpet with that dirt all over its paws.
Acknowledging other people's sneezes. That goes back to the time of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ or something, doesn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was the fear was your soul was going to escape your body.
Yeah,
or something.
that's what I always heard. I'm very big on blessing people. People make fun of me for it sometimes. Well, specifically, my boyfriend does. When we're in a grocery store and someone sneezes, like, I don't know, 5 aisles down, I'll say bless you.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah. We were told when we were kids, it was rude not to say God bless you.
We were told the same.
Right. Are you okay, Wapple? What's come over you?
That just reminded me yesterday, me and my girlfriend were grocery shopping, and all of a sudden I heard this huge fart, massive fart, and I thought it was my girlfriend. I was like, yuck, like, are you serious right now? And then it was some other dude like 5 aisles away. He was a long
Was this Costco and was there an intercom involved?
No. And like the guy's girlfriend was down by us, and she just walks up and she's just like, really? I heard that. And the guy just started laughing.
You know what I'm taking away from this? Wapple's landlord / girlfriend farts like a man.
Yeah, sounds that way.
You thought it was her.
Yeah.
Man.
I was like, whoa.
That actually reminds me, on Saturday, I was at a store buying me and Nick these awesome hoodies we're wearing, these Wolves hoodies.
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
And the escalator was out, right?
Oh, no.
And so there's a lady walking up the escalator, and she was farting the whole way up. And her little kids were right behind her, and she's like, gross, Mom, you're farting in our face.
God.
I actually almost texted you, Nick, on that one.
That's terrible.
I know.
In our face.
And I turned to my wife, I'm like, did you see that? She's like, yeah, I saw that. It was so loud. It was terrible. Those poor kids.
Mom was farting in their face.
Yeah.
How about someone call Child Protective Services? You don't fart in a kid's face. Someone's texting in as we're talking about social norms that make no sense when you think about it. Someone texted in, anyone know the yustry behind the middle finger? How did that become a thing?
Oh, yeah.
I would love to know.
Good question. I just accepted it without even thinking about it.
What does this say? We'll wrap up the list here. I don't even know what this means. Using a customer service voice that sounds nothing like your actual voice? What does that mean?
Oh, I'm good at that.
Like a telephone voice.
My wife has a telephone voice.
I call it a server voice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, people that speak differently on the telephone depending on who the audience is.
Well,
I understand.
The same for anything. If it's like someone she doesn't know, she has a higher register.
Yep.
You know, she speaks like maybe to sound more nice.
I turn super girly.
And I've got friends that all of a sudden their voice drops an octave when they're on the phone to sound cool.
I was thinking too literally when I heard customer service. Okay, so just a phony voice over the telephone, sure. Finally, purses. They're useful. Why are men afraid to carry one of their own?
I hate using a purse. I do not use a purse.
I see more and more guys use those kind of over-the-shoulder fanny pack things lately.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you why. I got no problem. I mean, you know, I don't have that idea that if a dude carries a purse, you know, so what? It's his friggin' business. I'll tell you why I don't use a purse. I don't have. Who's carrying around that much stuff? Mm-hmm. I got a wallet and a set of car keys.
I do have a lot of stuff in my pockets.
Well, what the hell
time.
do you carry with you?
Cigarettes,
lighter,
G-pen.
And I got chapstick, keys, phone, usually like a pen, some paper,
butt plug.
The hell's the matter with you over there? You bring a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and my pockets just look massive.
Your cigarettes. Don't you got sleeves on your shirt? My dad used to roll them up in the sleeves of his shirt.
I wish I could do that cool sleeve roll, but I can't.
Arms are too skinny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep stuff in the pouch of my hoodie.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah, I've been made fun of for it. I just
really?
I keep stuff
what it's there for.
But it's just keys in my wallet because I'm always wearing basketball shorts and they fall down. I put too much
because
in
like
there.
the hoodie, it weighs down in the front, so it looks kind of dorky.
It looks dorky. Yeah.
How about have stuff fly out of your pockets when you're driving, though?
No.
Dude, that makes me so mad when I'm wearing a hoodie or
to me.
sweatpants. If you wear sweatpants, ugh.
That has not happened yet.
No, I don't carry around that much, so. Here's one from a listener. Someone tell me about this. Saving your baby's teeth?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, my mom did that. Yeah.
Did she? I don't think my parents did.
Yeah, you put it in like a scrapbook. I'm sure they have one of your teeth somewhere.
What?
Yeah, you usually save your baby's teeth. Put them in like a scrapbook vibe kind of thing.
We never did that.
No, yeah, they make like actual like, I don't know, like boxes for that.
What do you pull the teeth out with? Like just a pliers or something?
Yeah, or string in a door. That works too.
Well, there you go. I don't know. I don't got the balls just to up and pull a baby's teeth out of its yap.
Well, not my own.
It's a random baby.
We got to go. Oh, did we come up with the middle finger?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to look it up.
It says something about Roman soldiers, so it comes from like the Roman time.
Back when the 300 were doing their whatever they did in that movie 300.
Yeah,
I'll go
basically.
along
Yeah,
with
it
it.
has something to do with fighting. I guess it was a way to like wave people over.
You know what, Ashley?
I wish it was a better reason. I wish I had a cooler thing for you.
It's 9:01. Close enough.
Just put away the computer.
Close enough. You've done enough. You've given all you can give.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.